and then I will start this up in like 3 minutes. Feel free to do other stuff while you're just listening along.
Read a ASMR.
Well, it's because usually this conversation is like anywhere between like an hour long to like 2 hour 30 minutes. I think, what is it? For the last 2 tiers, it's been an hour to an hour 30 minutes, and then it's just an hour of me just blabbering about like absolute nonsense. Which will all the other tabs come in on my other monitor. Alrighty, one more minute. What is it? Briefly, I'll mention, we'll talk about the first 3 bosses on Mythic, and everything else is work, because there's most likely going to be a better strat that comes out by the time it's relevant. So I'm not going to bother talking about the last one Mythic unless like we get to the end of this and people are just like, hey, yeah, I want to see what these fights look like on Mythic. Okay, so it's time. So what is it? So last month we did PTR testing for normal, so that should give a good number of people some decent indicator about how the bosses kind of operate. What is it? For the most part, this right here, I'd probably say a lot of the mechanics are fairly straightforward. And realistically, the only difference is on Mythic, a bunch of them changed to one-shot territory for some weird reason. So, this is the first boss, Plexus Sentinel. It's single target for the most part, except on Mythic. There is an intermission with 2 ads. So, I'm going to go through this. So the first mechanic that pops up, this is a mechanic that's going to leave behind a trap. These people take damage up until it explodes. So they're going to go off to the side of the arena. We're generally going to try to place most of the traps on the left side of the arena rather than the right side, because the right side is going to be reserved for tanks, but you can fill up part of the right side if it's closer to you. When these drop, you have 2 to 3 seconds of immunity. You can walk out of them. If you step into these traps, you'll be stunned for 4 seconds and you'll get a dot during it. And it is possible for you to step into a trap, teleport into another trap, which will teleport you somewhere else, and you could continuously chain pop the traps and be like continuously stunned. And as far as I'm aware, you can't remove the stun unless you have like an immunity. So be cautious with that. Do not step back into these traps. You're going to regret it. If the 4-second stun is not enough of an incentive, I don't know what will be.
Can they target anyone?
For these traps, it can target anyone. That is correct. Okay. So everyone has to be ready to walk to this side. I believe it can't target the same person twice, which is like the only leniency. Right, let me see. So we have Arcano Cannon. So this is the Tank Buster. It's fall off damage, and it will leave behind a giant void zone. Generally speaking, most tanks go to either the back left or back right. We'll generally lean towards the back right. The only exception is we do have a blood decay in the raid. So if we pull the boss close enough to the middle, the blood decay is actually going to go into the top right section and drop those over in that spot. It is possible for the tank to drop it in the same spot. The puddle doesn't grow. I believe the dot stacks, so it'll be a double ticking puddle, but the tank should be the only one who's walking into it. So I'm going to walk back. This is a mechanic. I believe this is also in Heroic. This might be Mythic only. This wall is going to fly through the arena. It's lethal damage to anyone that's not a tank. I believe it's 20 million damage. They buffed it up. To get through this, you're going to use your extra action button, or you're going to have to click wherever this extra action is. It's going to send you forward, and then you land after, I think it's about 10 yards, and then you have 80% DR for 4 seconds after you land. At least that's how it works in PTR. If you want to, you could just immune through it. Blinks work through this. You can set up a warlock circle past it, etc. As long as you're not like traveling through like a gateway or something. Like you have to actually teleport. You can use Transcendence. You can Void Elf through it if your SC Cloak is not available. And then the last mechanic of this P1 is going to be the Soak mechanic. It's going to happen after this next spread. So this Soak mechanic, what is it? So on normal, this is just a regular Soak. On Heroic, this is going to bounce people out of it, and it's going to hit twice. And then on Mythic, this requires at least 5 people in it, so you're not going to immune with this circle. For Mythic, what's most likely going to happen is we're going to do the first Soak in melee. All the melees are going to get booped, and then this person is going to walk back into the range stack. It is possible to make it into both stacks. I'm not expecting it, but it should just be a melee into range Soak, and it will be range standing just slightly behind this person. And ideally, this Soak person needs to stand still as quick as possible when they get next to the boss, so that melees can actually know where the knockback is. We could do some optimizations, like have the Soak be on the left side so the melees can bounce to the right through the boss and have full uptime. We could discuss that later on. But you can see like right here in this video, this is the melee Soak, and then they went back, and then they catch some of the people who got knocked backwards. So that's the entirety of P1. So not a whole lot. P2 is going to start when the boss reaches 100 energy. It's going to be a pushback. This is a true pushback. It is possible to collide into this wall and immediately die. You need to actually fight against the pushback by holding W. On Mythic, you're going to have 2 adds. These adds cannot touch the wall that we saw earlier in the fight, so you just focus them down. You can grip them, so we can like grip them to group them up together in the back of the room. The other mechanics that are happening is these circles make domes. These domes will knock you back. What is it? There was some text to like go to it, like double rolling on Monk, or using lighter than air, or like you could place a warlock gate incredibly close inside these domes. But realistically, you're most likely going to just use the warlock gate like before they even pop up. These water swirlies, these are going to spawn laser. I believe they always rotate clockwise. You can see they're just killing the ads, and then you go fight against the boss. The boss has a shield. Whenever the shield disappears, the intermission ends, and then during this whole entire time, the boss is constantly ramping the raid-wide damage. So healers are basically just healing until the shield breaks. If we're like back here on Mythic and killing the ads, and someone decides that they'll peel a single target and they need to go to the boss, you most likely need to fend for yourself. And then right here the wall comes in, you can rescue wrap. One tip I would give, if you're next to one of these bubbles, and the wall is coming in, time it so you go through the bubble and the wall. So you don't have to like rescue wrap through the wall and then still have to run around the knockback domes. But anyways, this continues up until you reach, what is it? It's 3 total intermissions, and then the fight in raid sequence is the walls come in quicker than the rescue wrap CD. So if we go back a little bit, the rescue wrap CD is 14 seconds. I believe the wall comes in every 8 to 10 seconds. So at some point, it's basically anyone who has an immune or anyone who can blink across the wall is who's killing the boss, but it's the first boss. Realistically, we're probably not even going to see the enrage. But that's it for the first boss. Any questions? Okay, no questions. Alright, I'm just going to repeat again. You get these traps. Generally, try to lean them towards the left side. Right side is as long as you leave the top right corner and the bottom right corner for the tank, it's totally fine. Different groups will do this differently. If you don't have a blood decay, they're all going to go back off the back right, and most likely stacked up. The spell order does change for each P1, so don't just assume that the first ordering and mechanics will be the same. So that's first boss. Second boss, Loom'ithar. Let's see. I'm not going to show the Hewlok. Hewlok has a change in P1 and P2. I'll talk about what the change is. This is not a lost on pull boss, and this mechanic does not start on Hewlok. It doesn't start with this specific mechanic. We'll talk about it. So on Mythic, there's these infused tangles that spawn on the edge of the room. There's 2 sets of them that will be spawning. This is basically the aeronaut wing mechanic. You don't want to touch the tether while it's up. And on Hewlok and Mythic, they will be immune to damage. In order to make them targetable, the tank has to send a tank buster straight through these tangles. So one tank is going to send it through one of the inner adds, and then the next tank will just send it a little bit to the left, just like this. Be careful that you don't get baited. Like, you should know which 2 the tanks are going to hit. Like, if the tank is like moving around a bunch, don't just like continuously follow the tank. And then we swap over to them. There's 2 mechanics happening at the moment. Oh my goodness, this quality. This tether stuff, the beam, this is the Mythic mechanic. We will need people to body block it. This does, I think it's about 700k every second, and then you get 100% damage increase taken debuff every single time you take a tick, and then this beam lasts for 15 seconds. So you're going to be swapping between probably 2 to 3 people, or you wait for the tank buster to finish and then you have the tank take it. And then the other mechanic, you'll see a few people who have the arrow, this purple arrow above their head, as well as the big wigs stuff saying that they targeted by infusion tethers. These people will be yanked into the boss, and they will take ramping rot damage while they still have this tether. So right now they're going to kill these ads. If you're able to swap to the ads, I would say just swap to it. This P1 is going to last around like 2 minutes 30 seconds. There's no real danger to like kill without pushing the boss 50% for the face push. Do note these rolls are all one shots on Mythic. This roll is 20 mil damage. It does take like 6 seconds for it to hit, but I just want that to be aware so that people aren't just trying to like greed on this roll. They are beta on player occasions. And then right here, they're going to break the tether. This tether has some changes on the difficulties. If you break this tether and you're standing on top of someone else's puddle that they dropped, on Heroic, this will stun you for 5 seconds. On Mythic, this is 10 seconds. You cannot use a bop to free the person. They are just stuck here for 10 seconds. They need an immunity or something, or human ratio, in order to get out of this. So ideally, when you're popping your tether, either A, you need to pop it at the same time as everyone else, or B, you just stagger, and you just make sure that you pop it relatively quick before the puddles grow too big. But you just see this boomkin just stuck here stunned for 10 seconds. You see the bop attempt, and the bop does not work. Do you know for healers, you will have a gill signifying if someone actually gets stunned? Hopefully you never have to see that gill.
I'm getting stunned first time.
Alright. Do you note, we're going to continue with this stuff. You are able to teleport past this aeronautic ring mechanic. Make sure you wait for the infusion tether in case you end up getting randomly targeted for it. The other way that you can ignore this aeronautic ring mechanic is you need to be able to prevent yourself from getting rooted. So immunities, freedom, anything else that has root immunity, because it's the root itself that applies the damage. Right here, the boss is at 100 energy. It's literally the bloodbound horror mechanic. You literally just went out, and then you don't greed. I don't need to see another warrior just heroic leaping or charging back in before this finishes casting.
Why do they do those mechanics? It's like absolutely no effect to range, but melee have like 10 seconds of downtime.
Yeah.
Super sick.
Do you note that this group is, I believe they're rotating, what is this? It looks like they're rotating counterclockwise. We're going to be rotating clockwise. Don't destroy your brains with clockwise versus counterclockwise.
Can you post a map on what's clockwise and what's not clockwise?
Oh my goodness.
Can we repost the counterclockwise, clockwise recoil?
Yeah, can we do that?
We could do that. Alright, anyways, I'm just going to let this play out until they hit 50%. Well, the boss will switch over. But again, this should be like 230. We probably see the bloodbound horror like went out mechanic like maybe only once, maybe twice if tuning is really tight. You generally don't want to see it a lot because then it means that there's more webs on the ground, and then you just run out of space. Alright, so at 50%, everything in P1 just vanishes at the same time. There's a little pushback, and then as soon as this boss lands, it's going to gain a debuff. What is it? Why are they not mousing over the other debuff? As soon as this boss lands, it gains another debuff right here. It's doing this pushback. This is when we're going to lost. This is a 33% damage amp for the remainder of the fight, and the boss is not movable. And then you can see right here it's 230. So this phase, every single time the boss does, I think, the pushback, it's going to drop a void zone under it that's going to grow. Right here we have the silk mechanic. This is going to be upward damage, and then it is a dot for about 30 to 40 seconds. I don't know what the exact timing is. They changed it a bunch. You basically want to alternate the silks. On heroic, the upfront damage gets increased because you take a debuff. That prevents you from soaking the immediate next one. And then on mythic, if the tank takes this by themselves, well, if there's not 5 people inside the soak, the boss will gain an absorb shield. There's no issues with stacking. You can just stack up as much as you can inside this frontal, and then they tank swap. And then on mythic, there's this pushback has this spread mechanic attached to it. So at the very end, you're going to pop. This is not pulsate damage. This is just a pop at the very end. So on mythic, the goal should be, if you're inside this frontal, you're most likely going to spread out somewhere in this frontal cone. If you're not in this cone, you should be already pre-spreading for the mechanic. Do the mechanic ahead of time. Give people space. For for either difficulty, my recommendation is this pushback. You should have a defensive running for this pushback if you just took this frontal shift beforehand. Because if you notice this pushes HP, this frontal does not do a whole lot. Like, that's basically, what is it, 31% with bulk skin. So it's probably like closer to 40% HP. And this stuff, you can see they're taking the lot damage from the dot that they have from the frontal, as well as the pushback, and then they heal up. And then boss drops puddle, we continue rotating around, and this repeats until either boss dies or we run out of space. And then I'm praying that people can live inside the lot, inside the void zones. Yeah, that's the entirety of this fight. Does anyone have any questions? No questions. But yeah, we'll just continue rotating clockwise. There will be a point when we're back near the web and the space is going to be a lot more tighter. Just be aware of how you're positioned. The only other stuff that I'll probably put is when this pushback is happening, there's a good chance that most of the lanes are generally going to be pushed back to roughly the same spot. You can see right here, this Boomkin lived. This Wooly during PTR did not do any damage, but you can see just how dangerously low they get after taking this Wooly and taking this much damage. I believe this fight will most likely, we'll see. I think it's probably going to be a 5 heal fight, and then one of the healers is going to complain to me about double 5 healing it, because the annoying part is this P1 has absolutely nothing to heal. It's basically you're spot healing 3 to 6 targets constantly. There's not really any AoE healers. So what is it? Some of the healers that are better at spot healing will get larger value out of P1, and then P2 is almost entirely constant healing the raid, because this you take a frontal every 40 seconds, and then the pushback mechanic happens every 20 seconds, so it's a lot of just constant AoE damage. Really neat though. Alrighty, well, moving on to third boss. So third boss, what is it? There's a few changes, but I don't think it's going to change all that much when we end up doing this fight. And this is probably as far as I want to talk with Mythic, because what is it? If Dimension's heroic ends up being hard enough, but we can somehow make it to Soulbinder, I'm probably going to prioritize getting over to this boss and getting 3 Mythic bosses done. Hopefully, a good chunk of the raid, 2 vault slots. What is this? This is a Think Buster, it's whatever. So the main gimmick of this fight is there are these machines that are trying to summon ads, and we want to break them out of the machines to kill the ads early before they all break free and we have to deal with them. So the very first mechanic is Soulfire Convergence. This is basically the Kaiveza mechanic. These orbs will always be in this same orientation. On Mythic, you will need to shoot these orbs to touch the canisters that we're going to break, otherwise we can't break them on Mythic. These will shoot out orbs, they'll stop on the first target they hit or the first machine that they hit. When they hit a machine, they will put a 3.6 mil heal absorb on everyone, so that's about 7 mil on Mythic. On normal and heroic, touching these orbs will just give you a movement speed heal. On Mythic, this will give you a 25% haste reduction for, I think it's 12, maybe 15 seconds. So we will try to avoid getting hit by these orbs. I believe it's 4 people that get targeted with this. Just don't shoot it through the boss if possible. Try to make it obvious for knowledge and range group. And then this mechanic right here, believe it's Soulflare Annihilation. So this image makes you think it's a beam. It's not a beam. It's shooting out an orb. So you're going to notice that these people are walking behind the machines because these orbs will stop on the first target that they hit, and you want them to hit the machines. I want everyone to go behind the machines. This includes the melees. Like I've seen it in PTO enough of like melees trying to like juke the orb as quick as possible, and it does not look pretty. You basically need like a movement speed tool in order to actually juke the orb. I'm waiting for someone to ask for them to get a harder sign like Tiger's Lost or Freedom or whatever, or like to drop Windwest Totem, just so that they could try like an uptime stuff. But please, just go behind the machine, play it safe. You need to make sure that you're close enough to be able to get behind the machine. And it'll break it out, and then we hit these ads. These ads will have a 200% damage amp while they're broken out. Expecting some people to do some degenerate stuff for the ads each time we break them. And then this is Arcane Explosion. It's a knockback. On normal and heroic, this is just a knockback. Just make sure that you don't get knocked off the arena. On Mythic, wherever you land, you will drop a puddle. If you knockback immune, like you use Depth's Advance, it will drop the puddle immediately underneath your feet. If you teleport while in midair, it will go to wherever you end up landing on your teleport. Like if you circle somewhere, it'll line up on your circle. If you transcend, it'll line up wherever your transcend is. If you use something like disengage, it'll go to wherever you're landing at. There's currently no issues with like stacking this on Mythic. There's nothing that's been added to the PTR journal or to the live journal, so I assume that that's going to stay that way. And we're just going to drop them in whatever this corner is. We're going to do that twice. But that's essentially most of the fight. I'll talk about what the ads actually do, but like literally it's you do the Kaiser orb mechanic. You make sure you hit both these machines. You take these what looks like a beam, but it's actually an orb behind the machines. You break them out. They have 200% damage amp. You go wild. We do a knockback mechanic, and this just continuously repeats. After the third set of machines break, let me see, right around here, all of them get broken out, and then we're just trying to group them up in AoE. There's no 200% damage amp on these guys. We just deal with them as need be. So to talk about the mechanics, so you can't even read the name because of the quality. Just your quality. This happens around 2 minutes. This circle that you see, this is a mythic mechanic off of the assassin. On normal and heroic, it's just going to backstab, put a dot on someone for 30 seconds. He always just be aware of who gets the dot. On mythic, it's whoever is inside the circle gets the 30-second dot. The mage will cast. It will do, I think it's like 3 mil upfront damage, and then it's like 1 mil every second for 30 seconds on a target. On Mythic, the mechanic is every single time you kick it, the kick cast halves. So it starts at 4 seconds, next one is 2, next one is 1 second, so on and so forth, up until it finally gets a cast off. And then these face blades, every single time they auto someone, it will do raid-wide damage. And then on Mythic, this raid-wide damage increases by 7% for each auto attack it does on whatever the target is. So anyways, it's around 2 minutes. You have 2 minutes to sit a line up with this, go wild on them. I don't think we have to lost this. If people really want to lost these ads, we can. I think we were just going to lost on poll. And then this fight basically continues forever. Like on PTR, there was no Hardened Rage. I'm going to bet that it's going to be like Sequin, where they're going to add like an enrage timer around like 8 minutes or so, maybe 7 minutes. There are PTR logs which had this fight go all the way up to 12 minutes for some, I don't know what they were testing for. I guess just how far the enrage would go. None of these puddles ever disappear from what I've heard. But yeah, we just continuously move around the room, and we're just continuously fleeing these ads, and then just killing ads constantly. But yeah, simple fight. Should not be a hard boss in the slightest. Does anyone have questions about this boss? Okay, no questions. One stuff that I will mention, don't remember if this has changed. Was it this Tank Buster? It's a multi-hit stuff for the multi-class. On No One Heroic, the debuff only increases the damage of Mystic class. On Mythic, this also increases all physical damage that the tank takes, which I think that just involves the boss's autos, because the Phase Blade damage, it's some magic type damage. I forget what the exact typing is. Alright, cool. But yeah, we'll see if there's like any cooks for this boss, but honestly, there's no real way I think that they could like make this boss any more complicated than the way it is. It's literally just a numbers tuning stuff. Oh, also on Mythic, try your best to not have the room be looking like this. Try your best to like have it go as close to the edge as possible without you actually falling off the edge. Alrighty, so we have 4 bosses left, and we can talk about the Mythic bosses as need be. Alright, so Forgeweaver Araz. This is the fourth boss, and what I'm expecting to be the first wall on Mythic. You're going to see that there are these objects around the edge of the room. On normal, there's only 2 of these. On Heroic and Mythic, there's third one that I'm currently mousing over or appeal. I will mention this really early before any mechanics pop up. This is a fight where I care more about the ad damage than whatever happens to the boss. I do not care how quick the ads die. I would much rather have higher ad damage than anything else. If you need to go like Mythic plus talent or whatever your actual AoE raid build is, and just go for it for the first few pulls. Right. So there's a number of collectors. It's going to send out swirlies that just go across. It stops on the first person that gets hit. You can see Ellis Miller's right here just tanking all of them because he's AFK. Right, and then this is the first main mechanic. Whenever you get this mechanic, you will want to use a defensive. It's going to tick every 1 second. It's about 2 million damage on Mythic. So 2 million damage every second for 4 seconds. That's about 8 million damage. When this boss invokes the collectors, this collector will also take 2 million damage every 2 seconds. So that's 40 million total in 4 seconds. A lot of you will not live 14 million, and you're basically banking on the healers to kill about you. You want to drop this in the middle of the room on Heroic and normal. When this debuff expires, it's going to summon these manifestations. These manifestations are going to slowly move their way to the collector that you were tethered to. So right here, they're tethered to the self collector. So I say self when we just say back at the room. These manifestations will slowly try to walk over. If they touch this collector, it'll be an upfront raid damage. It's not an immediate wipe, but it is a lot of damage that can just kill people due to other stuff going on. You can CC them, you can shield them, but just hard tunnel them with AoE. Coming right up, this is a soak mechanic. This is targeting the current main tank. This soak is similar to, let me see, how would I refer to it? It has the Wasak effect, where basically everyone in the raid takes damage from the soak regardless of who's in it, but every person in it reduces the damage. On Heroic, you have a debuff that prevents you from soaking the immediate soak afterwards, and then on Mythic, this will give you a debuff that lasts 10 minutes, which means that we have to plan around the 3 possible soaks. So we're going to split the raid into groups of 7, 7, and 6. Probably do 6, 7. Let me see. Yeah, 6, 7, 7. Anyone who's in the soak will get a heal absorb. I believe on heroic, this is a 30 million heal absorb on each person. So if you're already low, you should plan around like, I'm going to have this 30 million heal absorb. I either need to have a good defensive for this mechanic, or I need to have a good defensive for the other mechanics that are happening. And then heal is to try to top the people who are currently assigned to be in the soak. When the soak goes off, an ad is going to spawn. On normal mode, you could just tank these together. On heroic and mythic, the ad will get a DR and damage buff if it's next to the boss. It's about a 75% DR and damage buff. The general rule of thumb that we're going to do is we're going to do the soak. The tank that was not in the soak is going to taunt the boss, and it's going to drag the boss out because we want to kill this echo as quick as possible. We're not going to do this movement of like dragging the echo out because this echo takes priority. On Mythic at least, this echo basically lived right before the next echo spawn or right before you went into intermission, so it needs to be hard tunneled on. Everyone should swap to the echo. You should not be hitting the boss unless it's just like dot or a secondary cleave. And then the only real stuff that this echo does is every single time the boss invokes the collectors, it's also going to invoke the other collector, which what is it? Is basically extra lot damage and does more swallows to dodge. So the goal is to just kill as quick as possible. These swallows, very important to dodge. What is it? Yeah, what was the term for the torque mechanic? You will not die from these swallows, but you will be pacified and silenced for 6 seconds if you're in these swallows. So you cannot just ignore it and just like take the swallow. The healers are going to see that you drop heal, it's whatever. What's more important is the fact that you're not even going to be able to action for 6 seconds. So make sure that you're dodging these swallows, not because you care about the healers, but because you care about you yourself being able to action. And you see right here, this is another soak. This is another echo that just spawned. If this other echo down here is still alive, all of a sudden you're in a scenario where it's like the echoes can't be next to each other, the boss can't be next to the echoes. We have 3 things that need to be tanked, and we only have 2 tanks, and this is going to look miserable. You can see like they're doing something really scuffed to try to work around it. It's heroic testing, so it's whatever. They're all learning. Anyways, this is going to continue. I will mention the timer that you go into this intermission. Normal to heroic, it changes. On heroic and mythic, I believe these timers should be roughly the same. Actually, no, they're different. Anyways, we continue on with this stuff. Just continuously spawn ads in the middle, kill them. You notice that when there's multiple collectors up, these manifestations basically spawn like back to back to back. So it's like constant 3 to 6 target cleave off of the boss of the ad. Alright, so right here we're going to go into the intermission. It's 2:30. During this intermission, you're going to be killing all 3 collectors. On Mythic, all 3 collectors need to die within about 1.5 to 3 seconds of the first one dying, otherwise they will enrage and wipe the raid. So on Mythic, I'm most likely going to ask for probably like 1 to 3 DPS to just pay attention to the collector's HP and to mention if one collector is just getting absolutely blasted. On no one heroic, it doesn't matter so much. What's important is on no one, this collector has a ring around it. It's going to have orbs that spin around it shortly. This collector is going to be the first one that's going to activate. And what I mean by that is it's going to slowly go all the way up to 100 energy, and at 100 energy it's going to enrage and put on a dot on everyone. So I'm pretty sure this dot pops up a little bit earlier than 100 energy. But it's going to eventually cast something that's going to basically, it's a raid wipe. So it's very important to focus. The other way of preventing this stuff from happening, aside from just outright killing it, because on Mythic you obviously can't kill them in time, is a short bit. There's these two attendants that spawn. The tanks can drag the attendants in front of the collectors, and instead of the collectors sending the energy into the direct middle, it's going to shoot the energy into the attendant, which does nothing. All these attendants do is they auto attack the tank. For each auto attack that they do on the tank that they're currently on, they get ramping attack speed, so it's just a tank swap when the stacks get way too high. For DPS, you can literally just ignore the attendant unless you want to like start padding early. Because at least on Mythic testing, these collectors were very tough to DPS check. We want as many specs that are able to hit these three spread out attendants as much as possible. Anything else I need to mention about this? Oh, this direct middle is instant death. Do not even bother running into this middle, right? You should not be jumping or teleporting anywhere close to this middle section, otherwise you would just die immediately. I'm gonna put that as a caution point. I feel like this should be obvious enough that you should not step into it, but I've seen other stuff where people get debated and they're like, oh, I'm just going to like run through it because I can get to the other collector quick. But yeah, as soon as this collector dies, this boss is going to walk towards the middle to do a cast, and then at the end of the cast it will get stunned, and it is right here, it gets stunned. Oh my goodness, I'm looking at the wrong stuff. Okay, so it does the cast, it has an animation, and then now it's done. It's this icon right over here. So this is 12 seconds of a 100% damage amp. So if you are not one of the people who is supposed to be killing the collectors really quick, this is a decent spot to be popping CDs because it's 100% damage amp, and this boss does not automatically phase into P3 until it is 15% HP. They changed it from PTR 25% to 15%. So this damage amp, everyone who's single target should be using CDs here. We might have some single target people use CDs during intermission for the collectors, depending on what our DPS looks like. But it should be mostly spread AoEs that are doing most of the intermission. So anyways, the fight continues. This is literally the same P1 that's going to happen. So I'm just going to just slowly move forward. We're constantly spawning the manifestations in the middle, CCing them as appropriate, just to make sure that we can cleave. Another AoE. Oh, by the way, this is AoE every single time it goes into intermission. I believe for Mythic, they buffed it up to 8 million damage. So healers should try your best to make sure people are as topped as possible before this knockback happens. Pretty sure the normal heroic values are decently high. And then these collectors do different stuff. In the first intermission, you saw line AoEs. In the second intermission, it's slowly that you're dodging. But it's... oh wait, they still do the line AoEs. Never mind, it's both mechanics. But anyways, it's the same logic. Normal and heroic, you're just killing whichever one lights up first, or the tanks can just drag the ads over to the collectors to drain the energy. And then our goal is to just kill the collectors. We kill the collectors, we enter another damage amp, we cleave off the boss, 100% damage amp, single target, or 3 target cleaves, go wild. And then after this ends, we immediately go into P3. So P3 starts by the boss knocking everyone over to the other side of the room, and there's a void zone near where the forge is, and the boss is constantly pulling you towards this void zone. I believe on Mythic this void zone is 11 mil every second. And the only important stuff to recognize on No One Heroic is this forge will also spawn the manifestations. You'll notice in a bit, if they don't kill too quick, there's going to be tethers that form with people. Different tethers, but roughly the same idea. They're going to take dot damage, and then they're going to summon ads, and then we kill the ads. And that's basically it for this P3. I will mention right now, on No One Heroic, this Poland does not become all that strong until like, I think it's like 2 minutes into the Poland. On Mythic, by the 1 minute point, if you ever watch like a Shadow Priest do this, they are holding W and they are literally like neutral. They are literally like, they are holding W and they are just basically standing still, and if they even try to cast, they immediately start like moving backwards. So it's very important that we're constantly using movement speed tools, gateways, etc. Don't cheat too much for casters if possible. Mainly for if you end up having to mainly if you end up having like the manifestation spawns. So that's kind of it for this fight. I'll mention the Mythic mechanic because I feel like it's easy enough to mention. The Mythic mechanic here is the boss will also do a knockback that originates from itself, and that happens 1 minute in, the same 1 minute that I just mentioned. Now this Shadow Priest struggle to even move. Depth Advance works on this. I don't know if there's anything else that's similar to Depth Advance to like prevent movement. But yeah, I'm waiting to see the unfortunate reality of like a Priest being stuck in the back and then they choose to like grip you back out of spite for you or something. Alrighty, any questions for this wolf boss? Okay, no questions. This is most likely the boss will, if I hadn't yet, by the time we reach this boss, I'm most likely going to start mentioning to people a lot of stuff. We'll talk about that later on because at the moment we're just doing boss review.
3.
Alright, so Soul Hunters. So this is a council boss. All 3 bosses need to die at the same time, otherwise the remaining 2, actually it might just be the corpse. Something does ramping rot damage whenever you kill one of them. So they need to die relatively close. You can probably live, I want to say, at minimum 10 seconds when one of them dies. Longer if you have defensives. As for tank stuff, you can tank the guy on the left and the guy on the right. The guy in the middle does whatever. And I'll try to talk through the mechanics like, based off of each of them rather than trying to like, actually no, I'll just talk about them as we go along. Alright, so 2 stuff immediately start casting. Dull Infernal is what sets up the wall of the arena, as well as a lot of upfront rot damage to heal. And Devourer's Ire is, this is a one-time cast. There's going to be 2 swallows that you're going to see. On Mythic this will be 3 swallows. These are the people who are going to start off with the Devourer's Ire debuff, which I'll talk about later on. Just make sure that it's 1 person in each. We should have like roughly the same person doing it each time, so we know who this debuff starts on every single time. But yeah, 2 on normal and heroic, 3 on Mythic. Alright, let me see. Right, so that hits. Oh, they didn't actually end up soaking it. Right, so the very first mechanic that popped up is we have Fracture. This is on the Vengeance Demon Hunter. It's going to be hit the current tank, and this is going to drop a. It's going to drop souls of the tank. For each soul that's up, this tank receives 33% less healing, and these fragments will increase the damage of. What's the Vengeance Demon Hunter move? Soul Bomb. So you do want to soak these? Spirit Bomb. Alrighty, thank you. Alright, so someone's actually pay attention to ability names. When you pick these up, these are all pretty intensive damage. These effects do stack. To give a rough idea, on Mythic, when you pick one of these up, this is 700k damage every 0.5 seconds for 20 seconds. And it will stack if you pick up multiple. Do note the tank that got fractured will not be able to pick up their own souls. Okay, so that's a move. Now there's two other moves happening at the same time. The Void DH's main move is this consume ability. So these people who picked up the swords at the start, the people with the Devourer's Ire, they are going to be constantly hit by this consume. It's going to do upfront damage and put up a heal absorb. On Heroic and Mythic, this will put a debuff that ramps up how much damage you take from the consume, as well as a heal absorb. So generally on Heroic and Mythic, you're going to want to get this dispelled off around 8 stacks. You can go for more if you want. I am going to put a caveat to this. Healers are not actually going to pay attention to whether you actually get to 8 stacks. You're instead going to use the private aura macro that you can either drag from your macros that the Northern Sky add-on automatically created, or you go into the Northern Sky add-on and you bind the private aura macro to something that's pretty comfortable, and then that's your signal for when the healers are going to dispel. What did I put as a healer dispel order? It should be, depending on who's in, it's going to be Vaughn, Volux, Kayam, Soup, Miko, Topaz, in that order. I can change it around with a note if we don't like that order, but basically that's who's generally going to be dispelling. You can complain if you hit the macro, it works, it's obvious that it works, and they're just not dispelling you.
Probably because we hate you.
What the? There is a...
Fuck you, old man.
What is it? For the healers, you will also get a notification of like, the specific person is going to glow red once they go above 10 stacks, as a sign of like, this person is just taking a lot of upfront damage and a lot of heal absorb. There is one more mechanic that this Devourer's Ire works, and I'm just going to go over to talk about it right now. I'll move back. When this Void DH uses Void Step and moves across the arena, it's going to spawn Void Zones. These Void Zones will grow up to a certain point. If you have the Devourer's Ire debuff, you can stand in the Void Zones to shrink them and make them completely disappear. So that's the general goal of if you have Devourer's Ire. Generally speaking, this Devourer's Ire will attempt to shift over to people who don't have the Heroic or Mythic debuffs that stacks up, and it will also generally prioritize range DPS and range healers. If somehow we've dispelled so quick that we've gone through the entire list of all of our range DPS and range healers, it can then jump over to melees. But that's always how it worked on PTR. They might have changed that, so just be aware of that. Like, as a range DPS, you need to recognize, do I have this debuff? Are there any void zones up for me to clear? And then to hit the macro or whatever you keep on it to whenever you get up to way too many high stacks. And then healers should most likely just dispel yourself. Don't even bother hitting the macro. it takes like a good while. I want to say it's like 15-20 seconds before you hit 8 stacks. Alrighty. Other mechanics are happening. This is an IB mechanic. It takes away 0.5 seconds. It's a line AoE that extends to infinity on whoever is taking the Havoc Demon Hunter. After this I-beam finishes, it's going to Fell Blade on that target. On Mythic you think so, but that's whatever. I shouldn't even be talking about Mythic mechanics. Right. And then the next upcoming mechanic. You have Blade Dance. You just dodge this. This is these are blazes that do not move. They're just on the ground. If you get hit by Blade Dance, I'm going to question things. I'm just kidding. And right here, the Vengeance Demon Hunter is hitting Spirit Bomb. So this will do upfront damage and put a heal absorb on everyone, as well as put, I believe it's rot damage as well. Might just be the heal absorb. It'll always do the damage in the heal absorb. And then it scales up based off of how many fragments, spirits of the tank from the previous fracture. Right, and then this will be the last mechanic of P1, which is the hunt. So Havoc Demon Hunter is going to jump somewhere random, and it's going to pick one person that is going to make a line AoE with. This person, oh, they're doing the mechanic wrong. This person needs to this person needs to extend this line as far as possible. So this person who is targeted by the hunt is going to take damage that's based off of how many people are in the soak. For the people who are inside this line soak, you take a flat amount of damage. You always take the same amount of damage from this hunt. But the damage that the hunt target takes is reduced. So we want as many people stacking inside this. On Heroic, the mechanic is, you can briefly see it right here. There's a circle around you. I believe if you don't have Devourer's Ire, you're not taking like Consume, stacks pretty high. You can probably stack up like 2-3 people. Anything more you probably need a defensive. Ideally you spread out though. Like don't get into the habit of like stacking up with these. But yeah, stretch this out. Otherwise you just die like Alice Miller just did. What a surprise, you are dying. But anyways, that's the entirety of P1. Oh, you can see right here. This is part of the reason why I don't want healers to just automatically dispel, even if they feel like someone will die. Right here, you see this druid, this boomkin is trying to quell the entirety of this void zone, and then the healer dispels midway through this. So now this boomkin's like stuck here. It takes them a while to recognize like, oh, I don't have the debuff because I don't have anything above my head. By the way, I will be, if I have the brain capacity, I will be paying attention to like who has the Devourer's Ire with these stuff, and if I see like you're just standing still when you could be calling void zones, I will complain. I will ping you. You can see right here like this hunt is done a little bit more proper. There's only like 3 people in this soak, but this person lives. Anyways, so that's the entirety of P1. So we're going to talk about the intermission mechanics. There are 3 different intermission mechanics. They happen whenever the boss hits 100 energy. The very first 100 energy move is going to be the Void DH. The very center of the arena is a void zone. I think it's like, oh, how much is it? I want to say it's like 3 mil per second on Heroic. Do not be in this middle. The boss is going to slowly pull you in. There are these collapsing stars that are going to be trying to be sucked into the boss. They'll do rate wide damage if they touch the boss. On normal mode, you could just pick up these fragments as much as you want. It's just a tiny bit of upfront damage. On Heroic and Mythic, these will apply a 4-second dot that stacks for however many you pick up. So the general goal is you're going to pick up 2, you wait 4 seconds, you pick up another 2, you wait 4 seconds, you pick up another 2, you wait 4 seconds. Realistically, you're not always going to go up to 2. Sometimes you're only going to go up to 1. Just because like there's not enough stores. which is totally fine. As long as nothing touches the boss, we are good. We go into another P1, it's literally the same P1. You're going to practice this P1 a lot. This P1's main difficulty is basically people just sheerly dying over the entirety of the raid encounter. Alright, so the next 100 energy, this will be the Havoc Demon Hunter intermission. So let's go and go ahead and jump into the center. Oh, by the way, these other Demon Hunters, you are able to target them. They have 90% DR, but if you, for some odd reason, a 3-target cleave with 90% DR is totally fine. You can just hit them. Anyways, with this Havoc Demon Hunter intermission, it's going to do fell us. So it's going to spawn clones, and they're just going to fell us straight through you. We're going to do the same logic as we do with blazes. You get to a good spot, you stand still, you don't move, you trust other people to move around you. Just try your best to stand still as quick as possible. If you have to defensive, you defensive. You can notice it's probably around like 30% HP on heroic. No big deal. Alright, this boom kit. Let me see. Alright, maybe a little bit more than 30%. This looked like it was 50%, but this is a boom kit. Alright, let me see. Alright, and then we go forward. Alright, last intermission. This is the Vengeance Demon Hunter. So the Vengeance Demon Hunter is going to jump over to a spot randomly, and it's going to cast Spell Devastation at a random player. This will tick every 0.5 seconds, dealing damage, and every single time you take a tick, you get 2% stacking movement speed shield, and this movement speed shield stays up for, I believe, 10 seconds. But that's literally all that happens during this intermission. They end up killing this boss, but all that happens during this intermission is it's just going to continuously jump to the opposite side of the room, pick a random target, fellow dev in the direction, and then we just dodge the cone. I think, let me see. I will mention it is possible to outrange the fellow devastation. Like, if this pops up and you're like super far on this side, you won't take damage. The visual would not match what that spot is. At least it didn't on PTR. And then after this, they didn't get to it. The enrage sequence is that after this intermission, you'll do another P1, except all the demon hunters are gaining energy rapidly. I think it's like double or triple the rate. And then the last one will be all three will activate the intermission mechanic. So you're doing this fell jump plus dodging fell dev. You're doing the fell us mechanic, and you're doing this collapsing stall mechanic all at the same time. So the goal is basically to just kill them as quick as possible, because realistically they should be all near dead by that point. We're not going to live.
We win those.
We're not going to live all that long for that intermission whenever it happens.
Nah, we win those.
But yeah, as I'll put it, this fight will look like a mechanic vomit if I just let it play out. It would just look like a mechanic vomit, especially on Mythic, but realistically, it's just 3 to 4 abilities by each boss. You can take each mechanic individually rather than trying to like comprehend everything that's happening all at the same time. Alright, any questions? Alright, no questions. What is it? Do make sure that you know how your spec does 3-target cleave, especially because we have to kill them evenly. I don't want to see a point where, like, I don't know, we're past second intermission, 2 of the bosses are at like 50% HP and one of them is at like 10%. And I'm just staring at it like, how are we going to not accidentally cleave this boss to death? Like, make sure that we're even. If you're only single target for some weird reason, 1, chances are I'm going to question you, but 2, what is it? That's most likely going to be a bench angle. I would heavily prefer for people to at least have some idea of like your cleave spec. Hi. So that's boss number 5. Let me see. I could probably get through these 2 bosses real quick, and I could talk about other stuff later on. Right, so we have Fractillus. So this is the 6th boss in the raid. Technically 5th if you consider Soul Hunters optional. What is it? So over here you can see there are all of these what is it? There are these crystals. They have a beam going out. This beam will do damage if you stand in it. The enrage mechanic will be this beam touching the boss at some point in the fight. It'll be a bit more clear a little bit later on. So right here we have the first mechanic. This boss is essentially Tetris. So you're going to see a whole bunch of people have a mechanic above their head. They have an arrow that associates with them, and they shoot out a wall straight on them. So the way that this fight is going to work is you have these lines designating where each of the lanes start and end. You'll see that there's a marker in between. You want to be standing on the marker to make it clear that you're not like in between the boundaries between one area to the next. And then your weak law will tell you where to go. On the one who work, the weak law is just going to tell you to go either left or right. It's not going to tell you which lane to go into. It will just say you're just going left or right from wherever the safe spot is. On Mythic, it will give you a specific marker for where you're going to go. Please make sure that you don't have anyone on ignore, because otherwise the weak law is just going to break. There are 3 ways to identify that you have this mechanic, because it is a private aura. What is it? 1, your big wig or weak aura is going to tell you that you have the mechanic. 2, there's an orb above each person who has the mechanic. This is your visual indicator. This is where you could technically do this fight without a weak aura if everyone has eyes to see who has these orbs. And then the last stuff is there's an arrow near the boss that's going to move left and right as you move left and right. When this wall shoots at you, you're going to get a tiny knockback, and you're going to receive a dot for like 8 seconds or something. This is Shockwave Slam. This is on the tank. It's only on the tank. It's basically the tank buster. And I'm going to do another wall creation for everyone else. And after this wall creation, we get the mechanic that closes the walls, which is every single person who is getting knocked back, they're going to have this blue arrow above their head. They're going to take rot damage until for 8 seconds. At the end of 8 seconds, they get rooted in place, and then they're going to get knocked back into the wall. The indicator for you is going to be slightly different. What is it? It's going to be like the arrow with like a diamond above it, which is your way of identifying whether it's on you or whether it's someone else, as well as like how many people are currently in the lane. You do want to break walls. Let me see, I'm going to go a little bit further ahead because I want to actually show the wall, just so the boom can turn around. Okay, so right here you can see that these walls have different colors. This wall that's as close as possible to the crystal, this is the normal mode mechanic. This is just going to spawn swirlies on the ground. This darker purple, whatever you want to call it, this is the heroic mechanic. This is going to put a circle around people. It's going to do dot damage to them every second, and at the end of it they explode in 7 yards. So it's basically just every single time these people get knocked back, you just dodge the swirlies and then you spread around, hit a defensive as need be. And that's the entirety of the fight. We continue going on. You'll notice that with each wall, the laser continues to extend. Once you build 5 walls on the same spot, the laser will connect to the boss. I think it's 5. Let me see. No, it's 6. 5th one is like right before. And then the 6th one is the enrage. So this fight has a hard enrage timer of about, 5 minutes. And then this is a pure single target fight. There is no ads, as you can tell. During this arrow mechanic, by the way, when they're getting knocked back, you can just spread out as much as you want. Like, there's nothing that's preventing you from pre-spreading out, except for like maybe you want to like bait these swirlies as close together as possible. So if you decide that you want to spread out, just if you're next to someone, just stack with them. And by next to them, I mean like you're really close. Like, if you're like within this, where this boomkin and this evoker is, you should just stack up instead of like trying to spread around. But if you're like already decently spread, no point in stacking up if you're trying to like pre-spread for something. Yeah, that's the entirety of this fight. For a good chunk of people, this will be essentially a weak world boss. I will mention, if we have mistakes happening, like for some odd reason you get a square assignment on Mythic, or you get a loft assignment on Heroic, and stuff goes wrong, I am going to have to call out to adjust, because the weak world is not going to know that you messed up. Do note, right here, you see 2 people in the same lane. These people are now going to have 2 dots because they got slammed by 2 walls, and you can see they take a relatively decent chunk of damage. And then they hit a DR, and then they'll all fine once more. But yeah, basically going to be a weak wall boss for the most part. You can use your eyes a little bit in the event that your weak wall fails. Like, you can kind of get a sense based off of how people move, where you should actually be going and stuff. Oh, by the way, when the tank buster also happens, the tank also has the orb above the head. So it's not like it's super confusing if the tank has the mechanic. Obviously, if you're blind and you're like, I can't see this orb, I can't see this arrow, I can't help you. Realistically, we'll have like a something set for where the tanks are going to send this mechanic. Yeah, any questions about this?
What's the healing check? Like, what does the biggest rate damage in this fight?
What does the biggest rate damage? Honestly speaking, on no one heroic, there is no big rate damage. I guess you could probably say like, depending on how many heroic walls we break. Like if we're breaking all heroic walls, this would be a section that would have a lot of rate damage. Otherwise, it's just constant, like you're just healing 4 targets.
Okay.
On Mythic, this completely changes because there is actually something for healers to actually heal as for the entirety of the raid instead of just healing like 4 people. Oh, one stuff that I just got reminded of while we were just watching and talking. If you stand far back enough, this will most likely affect range people. If you stand back far enough, when you get knocked back, it is possible to get trapped behind the wall, and if we built up an entire layer, you actually have no way of getting back to the boss. You are stuck in whatever layer you're at. So try your best to like not be far in the back of the room. You should like, there's no reason to not be just standing in melee range. You can see like right here, this evoker gets knocked behind this wall, and then they can't target the boss because of the blind side issue. Alright, any other questions? I would say I'm probably not going to assign heal series for this on the one who work. I might have like I might like make a note, but I'm not going to actually like push the note for this boss because I'm like it's just constant 4 target, like you have to heal these 4 targets, like what is it? When these orbs appear after they get hit by the wall, that's a healers section where you're healing 4 targets, maybe more if they're equipping like other people. And then for these the knockback arrow, you're just healing them up until they get wounded. But yeah, like there's honestly not a whole lot to heal here. And it's I'd probably say like for defensive usage, you probably only need to defensive like when you get hit by a wall. Like you defensive right before this wall slams into you. Here defensive usage is very variable. I always on the one who work Mythic changes. And then yeah, you can see like right over here, this section on store has 5 walls. Realistically, like 2 or 3 people should be on this section to break as many as possible. Alrighty, that's boss number 6. We'll do boss number 7, and this would be, what is this? An hour 20 minute, hour 30 of talking. Alrighty, this is most likely the boss. Well, I am probably going to bench like really quick for Heroic and Mythic. I'm hoping that what is it? It's not too much of an issue for most people, but who knows how things will go during actual plug. Anyways, we're going to for the boss. This starts off with Oathbound. This is pulsing rate damage. During this pulsating rate damage, you're going to get this debuff. This debuff on Heroic and Mythic is while you have this debuff, if you die at any point, you will get MC'd. You will get healed back to full HP. You have 100% damage increase, and then because you're MC'd, you're just going to cause havoc in the raid. Generally speaking, usually it just does regular damage abilities. It generally tries to deprioritize AoE stuns, but it if you watch like a lot of PTR videos, you'll notice like a lot of paladins dying, and then they will hodge someone random, and then that person's just stunned for 5 seconds. It is also possible for you while you're MC to like kick and use other CC as well. So hopefully you don't have anything that's too bad when you're MC'd. If you're a paladin, don't take stuff like the consecration seal, for example. You don't want that to affect the raid. You probably don't want to like whatever. I don't want to Weaver when some people got feared. When in Weaver, people would get MC'd and then they would feel like their way through it. Just try your best to not have anything too disruptive. The other option is the EEC just don't die. You die in P1, unlucky. The other stuff that you saw is there are these wood wings that spawn on the edge of the room. These will attack you if you get too close. They are one shot. You never want to walk next to the edge of the arena. And then we'll go into the first mechanic of P1, which is this is a 4-hit tank combo. There are 2 different abilities. This one is Conquer. This is a silk mechanic that's going to knock you up into the air. It's going to remove stacks of your Oathbound. Realistically, all of you are not even going to do anything with this mechanic. You're just going to stack either on the left side or the right side, and you're going to let the tank run into you. Simple as that. If you're not in your assigned left or right group, unlucky. You could soak extra, but then you take extra damage because the Conquer will put a debuff increasing the damage of the next Conquer you take. And then for the tanks, this boss does not have any taunt DR attached to it. Like, there's no way for it to go taunt immune. So you, as soon as this cast ball starts, for each of the cast, you're just going to taunt as soon as possible to prevent RNG. So Conquer pops up. They're most likely just going to do what the early groups did, which is you just take like multiple Conquers in the back of the room. The other tank ability is Vanquish. This one has a 3-second cast. The tank is just going to try the best to run to the opposite side of the room where no one's currently standing and take this tank buster over there. This visual indicator does have a line designating how far it goes now. This is like old PTR where it's just like this vague cone. If you get hit by this and you're not a tank, you most likely just get one shot. And you'll be MC'd and you most likely stun the tank or something dumb. Yeah. So that's the main first part. Banishment, this just puts a dot on multiple people. It put a dot on 4 people. Heal is just heal. And then this Void Claw, what is it? This is going to leave a void zone, and then it's going to drag you in the direction that the claw indicates. So you see right here, like where this boomkin is. This section near the weak wall is gearing, so it's going to drag them upwards on the screen. Try your best to not get clawed into someone else or clawed into the guys on the edge of the room. And what is it? Some guilds did it where they had these go along the outside. Some guilds had it where they tried to put them all in the same spot. We'll just look over what guilds end up doing and copy. Don't think too deeply. Just know that it drops a void zone. And then there's another banishment, and then we have Besiege. So what Besiege is going to do is a few of the void wings on the edge of the room are going to disappear, and they're just going to dive across the arena. Touching this will most likely kill you. I think it's like 2 ticks on Heroic and 1 tick on Mythic that kills. And I believe it ticks every, I want to say 1 second, but something in my mind tells me it's every 0.3 seconds. So just make sure that you're not like in this. I think it's 1 second. Should be 1 second.
It's definitely faster than 1 second. You can get double ticked by those. Like,
Get double ticked? Alright, let's just say 0.3 to 0.5 seconds. Just make sure that when you're doing the conquer mechanic, when you get knocked up, you're safe from like the beam. Don't be like some of these people where like they're going to get knocked up and they're like directly in the path of the beam, and all of a sudden now they're just MC'd. And then this continues on until either the boss hits 50% HP or we go through all 3 cycles and all of the void wings are gone. So we're going to skip on ahead. I think they get the actual cast. I don't think this, oh, it might be a 50% plus. Alright, so at the end, it's going to do invoke oath. This is literally the Shockwave mechanic. It's going to check to see if you have any oath-bound stacks. If you have any oath-bound stacks, you immediately get MC'd on this. There is no recovery from it. And it's just the single 1 hit. Right, so it's going to go into P2. Make sure you walk out of this before it activates. Now you can get some uptime. And then this is a 2 target cleave section. If I was to say what to prioritize, I would say like hit the Nexus-King instead of Void Wing. It really depends on the heal scaling, as well as like how you can take it. The phase immediately starts with Nether Breaker. Just take these to the edge, be spread. Pretty sure it's going to be bugged in this video. Same claw mechanic for P1. And then right here it's going to do Dimension Breath. So Dimension Breath is going to shoot a laser from the boss, and then very briefly right here you can see that there is a laser indicator on this portal. It's going to shoot a laser straight forward. People are saying that it might be like baited based off of where you're facing or other stuff. It was super bugged on Heroic. I'm not even gonna bother like trying to logic it out. Just figure out how it could just be completely RNG. The most important stuff is if you're not the tank, you should not be in front of this beam. On Heroic, this beam, it's the Razagif mechanic or the Angelic P3 mechanic, where 4 seconds after the last tick, the tank will explode based. It hits the raid based off of the damage the tank took. So you want to mitigate this or external this or whatever the tank is. Briefly, I'll mention on Mythic, these beams from these other lasers. Actually, no. I think I might have just said the Mythic mechanic for how this dimension buff works. It should just be the tank that it reflects off of. And then on Mythic, it's whoever else gets hit by this beam. Anyways, very quick P2. We're going to intermission. You're going to split off into two. You're going to rescue wrap over to your platform. Do be cautious with aggro because mainly for like these back ads. Let me see. And then while you're on your platform, Nether Blast, we kick constantly. This will one-shot people on Heroic and Mythic. It's a 5-6 second long cast, so and it happens like it's delayed enough where I think you can probably do like either a 2 or 3 kick rotation depending on how late you kick. And then you're just killing all of these ads. What is it? There's not really a whole lot of mechanics on Heroic. You have Dread Motor. This is the swirling mechanic. Reap, that's done by these ads. This is just literally going to target random people and it's going to just jump to them and deal damage. And then the boss is going to do a spinny laser. Not boss, main ad. The only other mechanic is this golem is eventually going to hit 100 energy and it's going to do a 10-second long enrage cast. I don't think any group ever saw this on Heroic. I'm about to be proven wrong right here. Oh yeah, just kill all the ads. Yeah, they don't even get to 100 energy. Oh wait, never mind. It does kind of self-destruct. And then we go back to P2. This is literally the same P2 that we just did a moment ago. No big deal. You're just going to do all this stuff. And then the boss auto attacks for a bit, and then we get a damage amp phase. The Nexus-King is going to go immune, and then as soon as this cast finishes, this is now 30 seconds of 100% damage amp on the Voidwing. The Voidwing will phase, and actually let me rephrase that. The boss will phase into P3 whenever this Voidwing hits 40% HP, or we get the full damage amp. So that's the main reason I mentioned you ideally want to target the Nexus-King if you're able to hit the Nexus-King, because we don't want to do a 40% HP plus on this. We want the boss to be as healed as possible. So on Mythic, you most likely focus the Voidwing because there's no way you drop it to 40% HP. Yeah, this will be when we most likely will lost during this section. What is it? You can see what the timer is. It's around like 425 or something. Obviously, the timer decreases if you finish intermission earlier or you push P1. Right, so we go into P3. So for P3, what is it? So these people are going out. This is the Kaiveso mechanic. These three originally, who have a view arrow above their head, this stuff is going to be rotating clockwise, and these purple people on the left, they're going to be rotating counter. At the end of this cast, this is the Kaiveso pull-in mechanic, where based off of where all these portals are, we're going to get sucked into the center point. So ideally all of these are spread out so that it's an equal pull from all directions, so we just get pulled straight into the middle of the arena. Don't touch the stuff that spawns and they start rotating. No big deal. And then when they spawn, once again, you can't touch the center of these, and then these wings just constantly expand outwards, and it's just a dodging mechanic. We'll most likely have this be a lot more organized. Alright, so the next mechanic that happens, and this is the only other mechanic of P3, is Star Killer Swing. This will be on the tank and 2 other people. This will be a straight line AoE that goes straight through you. This AoE must hit 1 Dark Star at minimum. You can have 2 people hit the same one on normal Heroic. On Mythic, you all need to be on different ones, but Mythic is going to have a completely different mechanic. But just make sure that you are aiming this at one of them. If you end up missing completely, we immediately wipe. So it's very important that you aim this at one each. You see right there, they, what is it? They end up missing 2 of them. So they immediately just fall over. And then
Does it go through you, or do you have to be behind one of these balls?
it goes through you. If you will want to play
Does it do
safe, you can
damage
go.
when it goes through you, like if you're standing in somebody else's?
Yes,
Like,
it's
does it cleave like the original ones?
it's a straight line, so it cleaves everyone inside that straight line.
Okay.
So if they all spawn in melee, you might want to like move towards the store or like move behind it to just make sure that you guarantee you don't get cleaved by someone else's. But yeah, the goal is basically ideally we peel up all 6 of them. So just make sure that you're aware of where all of these stores are, and they do raid damage when they get hit. And then we do another, and then the fight repeats. They're doing the stuff that's the second mechanic and spawns new stores. The reason why we want to call as many as possible on the one Heroic is just because we want the room to be as empty as possible. We don't want to have to deal with the stores on the previous set and having to like treat these as like stuff we have to dodge. But yeah, this is the fight where I'm expecting a good chunk of the prep on Saturday to come from. Next Saturday. Okay. Any questions for this boss? Okay, no questions. I will mention one other stuff. This will be more relevant later on during like, I don't know, sales or like other people calling with like all of buffs. On PTR, if you push to 50%, this Oathbound stack never disappeared, which meant that if you died anywhere else in the fight, you would also become MC'd. I'm pretty sure they're going to change that, but I'm just going to put this as an early mention, so that if somehow someone's referring to this when we're doing like Heroic sales on like week 16, for whatever reason, you're at least aware of like, hey, if we push this below 50%, this might stay still, which means we have to live the entirety of the fight. If you die, you get MC'd, and then bad stuff can happen. But I honestly expect that to be fixed. There's no way they keep that in. I say that, but I know about some of this scuff stuff they kept in. Alrighty. So that is the entirety of the raid talk for the raid bosses. If we want to look into the Mythic last 4, these Mythic 4 bosses, we can. Personally, I'm of the opinion of we probably shouldn't look into it. Like, I can briefly talk about Forgeweaver Araz if we want to, because that's probably like the only potentially relevant boss for week 1 and week 2. I think actually, there's only one mechanic for it. I'll just briefly glance over it. I've explained most of the differences between normal Heroic and Mythic for this boss. The Mythic stuff that you need to be aware of is the way that these manifestations work. So when these manifestations spawn on Mythic, they will spawn with 200% DR and 99% increased movement speed. To get rid of the DR, you have to let the manifestations move through these void portals that spawn, and these void portals will always spawn directly opposite. You see they have a marker where a store would be for the collector behind. Do note, I put in the waypoint that you can walk through this with a defensive. It needs to be a really strong defensive, because for every second that you're inside this void zone, you are taking 20 million per second. So it's very rough if you end up being late. As I'll put it, when you get this mechanic, you have your weak roll will tell you that you have 6 seconds to get to your spot. You should always be within 6 seconds of wherever the next portal spawns. I will most likely call what the next portal spawns. But that's it for the mythic stuff, because I already mentioned that you have to kill the collectors at the same time. The way that the things can like move the attendants to body block the energy gain. And I talked about the last phase, the knockback mechanic stuff. But yeah, alrighty. So that is the entirety of the 7 bosses that we know of at the moment. For Dimensions, all I'm going to ask is don't die during the intermission. If you absolutely cannot Dragonfly, Dragon Ride, I would recommend having someone else put. No, you have to collect your own energy. It's gonna be like someone else could put ride along and then you ride along with them. But the reason why I'm saying that is because even on normal, everything one shots, it's just LFR that has it where you can actually survive mechanics in intermission. But yeah, do make sure that your raid hotbar does include a flying mount of some kind. Okay, so that's the entirety of the raid discussion. I'm probably going to yap on for another hour about random stuff, but if you're just here for the raid bosses, that's basically it. You're free to go. Unless you have like a question that you have like while thinking over these bosses. This will be posted as a video. I'm going to timestamp where each of the sections are in case you want to review. You should be doing actual review beyond just like this stuff. Like you should be looking at how your class or your spec individually performs on each of these fights.
I have a question.
Yes.
Do you think I'm gonna get benched on the wall boss?
Benched on the wall boss? Why?
Could I be benched on the wall boss?
I mean, potentially. So
I hate Warcore bosses so much.
Just buy some gold, Dirk.
Yeah, just buy some gold.
Me
Why?
when I get
Why?
benched.
I will.
Okay,
I will
let's
put this
not
as
do
like I will consider it, but if I feel like your single target is good, and we don't have anyone else, you're in.
Dude.
Stand back, bro.
hate weak aura bosses,
Calling that a
man.
weak aura boss is such a misnomer too. This is just an eyes boss.
You can't.
Oh, if it's an eyes boss, that's chill.
It plays
If
itself.
it's like,
Like,
if it's we fail 800 times because someone messed up the weak aura again, I'm going to kill myself. So.
I mean, like, so the main stuff about the eye stuff is literally you can look over to see who has the orb above their head. 9 times out of 10, the weak aura will always assign it as 2 people go left, 2 people go right. If you walk to the right side and you notice that there's a third person with an orb following you, one of you is messed up.
It's good that I can know that one of us is messing up, but
I mean, you could attempt to adjust because it's like
You have a long time. The mechanic.
like let me see.
It's not like
What's
the Fractillus aura thing.
right here, 242. The mechanic pops up. This wall does not lock in until. Let me see. Right here, this mechanic locks in. You have 8 seconds. If it takes you longer than 8 seconds to figure out your weak aura or use your eyes, bro, I don't know what to tell you.
I can already envision myself committing to walking to the correct side and then someone messing it up right next to me and me crashing out at them.
But you have 8. the two of you have 8 seconds to like figure out the mistake. But yeah, this is a weak law boss in the sense that like, if you have each other on ignore, or your weak law just bricked, there's things will just go bad. I will briefly talk about the add-on. What is it? So we're using the Northern Sky add-on. You're going to type /ns in game to open up the add-on itself when you have it installed. The important stuff that I'm going to put that you should be aware of is in the general tab, you're going to want to bind this key bind. If for some reason you're double rating and your other guild is using liquid, you can just click on this and then it'll look for both. Otherwise you're just going to have to drag the macro from your character. There's the cooldown options in case you want to like publicly announce or unready yourself if there's a cooldown that you're waiting for. Let me see, what else is there? Let me see. There is the externals tab, which you can bind to a button, same with innovate. Let me see. Have a ping for yourself. And the most important stuff for the weak laws themselves, under the weak law tab, you're going to download the manifolds, you're going to download the anchors. If you have an external you can send, you download the external alert as well, and then you download the interrupt weak law. So that's 4 weak laws that you're downloading. You can set it to auto update the raid weak law, which would prompt you to immediately download as soon as you log in or /reload. And then you can also do the same for any other weak laws. You just have to auto update the whitelist weak laws, and you would have to add the weak laws to the list. And just as an example of what the macro looks like, if you open up your macros, it's this specific macro for the private law stuff. This was automatically created when you download the add-on. So you can drag this if you for some reason don't like binding it here, like you want it to be visible on your screen or something. But yeah, so hopefully the fact that this is now an add-on and that there is a feature to auto update the raid weak law, we should have an issue. Make sure that you do delete everything that's old for Northern Sky. Like you should not have a Northern Sky database weak law. If you do, it will conflict.
Oh shit, do I have one?
That's why I said at the end of last year that you just delete the entirety of the utilities pack, because I'm like, I know
I deleted a bunch of weak auras, but I don't know if I deleted a Northern Sky Northern Sky something weak aura.
Yeah, and then real quick, for the manifold raid weak law, unless it's like an assignment weak law, you generally don't want to edit stuff in the manifold raid weak law, because then it's going to cause a lot of issues. You should just mainly be checking stuff to yode or never yode. For the most part, you should be editing in the anchors, because everything in the raid pack will inherit from the anchors. So like positioning, the size, the border, realistically most stuff the raid pack will inherit from the anchors. It's just the assignments that you will have to adjust on an individual basis. But yeah. Any other questions about the raid itself, the raid bosses, or this Northern Sky add-on stuff? We will not be swapping to liquid. I know that we have people like Soup who have like the Patreon, but I'm like, dude, I don't want to touch this. Too much effort to swap.
If we get hard stuck on the Demon Hunters, are we going to potentially skip?
If we somehow get stuck on Soul Hunters, we will skip this because, what is it? For CE itself, this is optional. This is required for Hall of Fame and Waste the Word Voice though, but that doesn't matter for us.
No, I'm just thinking like if
What do you
we're
mean
gonna
we're
get
getting called
hard
on?
stuck on a boss,
Yeah, this is
does
this.
it make sense to just keep bashing our heads or move on to what looks to be an arguably significantly easier boss?
I mean, what is it? For the most part, most people are saying like, if Soul Hunters ends up being a boss where people struggle to do mechanic wise, it makes more sense to do Fractillus and then walk back to Soul Hunters. Because then you have 4 extra youth, you have an extra tier, and then Soul Hunters should be quote easier with 4 extra pieces of youth or however much. But we're just going to do it in a straight line for the raid. For the raid itself, we have the 3 overtime Sundays. I posted that like 3-4 weeks ago. The goal is generally Friday should be all of normal. Ideally, we get 5 bosses on Heroic. Usually, we get 4 bosses on Heroic, which is pretty good. Because usually most 3-day guilds that are around the ranking or lower do less. If we were talking about splits, it would be different. We're not doing splits, by the way. But yeah, we should get through Forgeweaver Araz and hopefully Soul Hunters or Fractillus. I'll probably pick them based off of time. Like if we have 30 minutes, I'm just going to go Soul Hunters. If we have only like maybe 10 minutes, one pull after the trash, I'm probably going to pick like Fractillus. I'm just going to pick whichever one seems like it'll be easier to kill, just to guarantee it. And then Saturday should be Soul Hunters, Fractillus, Nexus-King, maybe Dimensius. It really depends on tuning on Nexus-King, because again, Muxie this tier was tuned hard enough that by the time we killed it on Sunday, it was like around what 400, and then the total for week 1 was like 900 kills of Heroic Muxie. And then Sunday should be a few bosses on Mythic, as well as hopefully Dimensius. Again, Sunday is optional. What is it? I'm just going to work with whoever is able to actually make it to the Sundays. It won't affect like future attendance or anything. The only stuff that will affect it is like you're going to miss out on youth, which might mean you might not make the eye level requirement. Speaking of eye level, I'm just rambling topic to topic. For the eye level,
Go on.
what is it? I think.
Flashbang.
Yeah, flashbang because it's. Let me see. For eye level, I think just based off of what we currently have, I think what I would like to do is I want to request for something like 694 by the time we're on Heroic Nexus-King. I'm going to commit to the 694. It's probably an undershoot. I probably should have it at like 695 to 696. And then for Friday, to make sure that you're able to make it to that 694 pacing, you should be around like 690 to 691. Same stuff as before. If you feel like you're going to struggle with the eye level, I would prefer to know it earlier rather than later. Like, if on Tuesday you're like, I'm probably going to do like maybe 6 hours worth of keys, I'm probably not going to hit 690, I'd rather you message me early on to let me know about that potential issue. Just so that I know what I'm working with and any potential options I would have to do. It's mainly just important just because like we had like significant DPS issues on Heroic Muxie as well as Heroic Angelic just due to eye level stuff. So it's basically just like eye level stuff and prep work that should be taken as priority. More so on prep work, but eye level does take like more time than anything else. But yeah, eventually sometime on the weekend, I think Sally or someone else will probably ping for like anyone else who is still doing the delves, just to see if anyone needs any help.
Well, class tuning is out.
Class tuning. Why would they do
Dude,
that?
actual real class tuning.
I swear to
Boom-
God, if I'm getting debated
boom
again.
did
Alright, there we go.
Boom
Alright,
did
what's
it.
eight?
Not a debate. No.
What is this? They're buffing Boom
Warlock,
Cannon?
Void Walker, threat
Oh my
increase.
goodness.
Yeah,
Alright.
Holy shit! For the first time in 25
they
years,
fit-
Void
oh,
Walker is a
no.
real
Oh,
fucking tank.
they gave 15% healing,
Mary?
but this might actually delete
That-
lesser
No,
druid.
that deletes our 15% is not enough. That is like 35% throughput. That is.
yeah. It's
This is actually really bad for lesser druid. Alright,
And it's over.
alright, I'm going, if possible, I think I would ask the end to like maintain the druid as well as well, but what is it? This lesser druid stuff is very.
Not anymore.
This lesser druid stuff is very debatable. Okay, let me see.
Dude, but look at that, they buffed Boomkin.
yeah.
We can't
Okay.
have a tier with Feral being better than Boomkin. That would be nice.
Okay, they at least
They're pretty
fixed
good in
the
hand.
AF 2 piece before raid. Oh,
Because currently, as broken as it is, with the 4-piece, AF was far and away the best spec to play going into the raid, prior to the new seasons 2 and 4-piece. Because of how much they buffed Unstable Affliction for the intent for this season's 2 and 4-piece, and since last season's 4-piece based around Unstable Affliction, like it was giga fucking broken. So that was actually pretty expected.
yeah. Alright,
For
let's see.
example, this happened today.
Let me see. This Boommaster change is good. Actually, I don't know. Boommaster still hasn't released the sim, but they're still saying that like they still do a lot of good damage. Okay, Tiny Salmon changes.
But why are last year Messenger doing no damage now?
Okay, you don't have to ask about that. But yeah, oh my
I don't know
god.
what happened. All I know is that I should not be doing that in like 3 target.
Oh,
That was literally
yeah.
just like,
Wait, is
Crazy
that
rock.
overall or is that?
oh,
like,
that's like a cherry
That's a
picked
fight.
pull, but it's 3 target. I should not be doing 10 mil in 3 target.
But dude,
UA was
you know what, last year
cranking.
probably didn't have cooldowns.
I think what has changed is it's Guardian Druid angle. The issue is what's it? Quickshow was mentioning it, and I was like, I understand the logic. In spite of how well Feral Druid is simming, the fact that this raid has like a lot of cleave and AoE is like very sus. By the way, please don't swap specs just because you're looking at the sim. Like, if people are swapping specs based off of the sim, I mentioned it earlier. For last tier, Havoc Demon Hunter was 4th. I want to ask how many Havoc Demon Hunters did you see in raid? Both DKs were like
Who knows?
third and second and third, or like third and fourth, and then Havoc was 5th. I want to ask how many
Dude.
DPS DKs we had.
Why aren't I playing Frost DK right now?
Okay, the issue is earlier on the Frost DK rider sim was actually like down here, but then they apparently
Yeah,
figured.
but like, I could play it now.
I mean, you could just do the MCOs and the delves, and then you could wait until for me to say like the last minute swap. I'll tell you right now, realistically, I don't care about too much about what people end up playing. I think the only stuff I would care about is like if someone decided that they wanted to play Suburb Deathstalker in single target. Like
I'm
this,
playing BM Dark Ranger.
My days of taking.
Wait, hold on. Where's
Reddit, I just
yeah?
saw you
Where's
know.
Og on that?
there
I've
is
been
no
thinking
Og on
about
Hill
playing
because
Rogue again.
it's so scuffed.
It's so bad it didn't make the list.
Like, technically speaking, Og would be somewhere around like here, like 5.2 to 5.1. 5.1 to 5.2.
I also love that like your hard cutoff is just sub rogue Deathstalker, but not
You-
enhancement shaman 300k above it.
No, because what is it? They just buffed Totemic a tiny bit. Granted, they still didn't fix anything about why Totemic is this bad.
Me and Zally are going Dark Ranger BM.
What?
He doesn't speak for me.
They have
Go
good
Sail
defensive.
Commander.
Dude, all I'm saying is the
Commander's so good.
tier DPS increase is nutty.
But yeah, so there's all these stuff. You can discuss like any potential last minute stuff. Do you note that there was mention that this was it this Destro Walk Diabolus is actually long. This should be 6.5 mil, almost 6.6 mil.
Oh, of course.
But that's a full planting play style. And
Is that Frostfire Sim? Is that for the bolts Frost Mage? Like the
no,
bolt spam one?
this is for
That's just it.
this is standard.
Damn.
This is standard. If you were talking about bolt spam is like 6.2 to 6.3 mil. Bolt slinger does a decent amount, and it really depends on how you play, because it's basically like you're planting for like 3 to 4.5 seconds, and then you have like instant moves for like a good like 2 seconds, and then you're back to your like planting. And honestly, it's not that bad to like hit Ice Lance if need be.
From what I've played, Frostfire is like way more fun than Spellslinger, so I kind of think I just take the damage increase or decrease to play Frostfire because it's just more fun to play.
If you play closer to Bolt Slinger, like you're using a lot of Frostfire bolts, it is higher than Spell Slinger by default. Like even if you have to Ice Lance every now and then, it's a good deal above Spell Slinger.
Like, with how close together they are, I think I literally just play Frostfire because it's actually fun to play.
But yeah, as I'll put it, with the exception of Suborg Deathstalker, I'm just in the boat of like, whatever is more comfortable for you to play, you can play it. Obviously, these numbers are single target. They do not include adds, they do not include damage amps. Like, if we're on Loom'ithar, that last 50% at HP with 33% damage amp, certain specs that have like really good CDs or like really good execute are going to like completely change for that section. And then what is it? And then we have this table. This is PI on cooldown the moment the fight starts. So this is like very scuffed. This is like assuming that somehow your disc place needs to PI right on pole to like meet the lamp timer or something. So obviously this changes if PI aligns with your CD. So like if you PI 10 seconds in, you've already lost like most of your PI here. Okay, I need to stop hitting my tab button. My push to talk. And then we have the tier pieces upgrade over here. We're going to be using this a little bit for the decision making on the U-Council side. I will mention, just because you see Plot Warrior all the way up here does not mean Plot Warrior is going to get plyoed. We are not looking at percentage gain. We're most likely going to look at raw
swapping
numbers.
to Prot Warrior immediately.
We are looking at raw numbers. I know it's still pretty high. Like the only stuff, like I'm pretty sure if you look at like everyone who's on that tier, this war piece is like bigger. Like it's already bigger than Windwalker Conduit for like raw numbers. But I'm not going to do it because again I'm going to be swapping around tanks.
Tank man.
Realistically, most likely we're just going to prioritize like who has a good 2 piece. You already have your 2 catalysts. Everyone should be able to get KSM before the end of the week. I'm talking about like Monday angle is, even though we don't wait Monday. So it's like you already have your 2 catalyst pieces. You're praying that you get heal from the current vault slots. You have 5 chances if you do the 6 MCOs and the 8 delves. You have a 6 chance if you do 2 extra MCOs for the vault slot, but then it's champ track. I believe LFR is tier shoulders and tier chest for the first wing that opens. And then the second wing that opens, it'll be every single tier boss. Because it's going all the way to Fractillus. So tiers should not be all too big of a concern. You should be having tier by week 3 at minimum if you have like really bad luck, because that's when you get your 3rd catalyst charge. And by then we would have distributed tier to you. But yeah. Continuing on with my yap.
Alright, see you guys.
Take care. Continuing on with the yap, this is the current stuff. What is it? I am still, what is it? I do still have people I'm still DMing for these last 3 days. I've had a few people who I've just been stuck in conversations with. and I was just like, I don't want to start a new conversation at the moment. As mentioned before, it's a 30 roster, 6 healers, 22 DPS. We're looking to trim about like 3 to 4 people pretty early on, probably like after week 3 or something, or like telling you that you're just basically on the bench. Ideally, I would hope that for most people your goal is to not be in the perma bench angle. Your goal is to actually like be on the core roster or the bench at worst. If you need a little bit of a better indicator because of, what is it, these classes look a bit wonky, what is it, where's my other spreadsheet? I probably should add some colors to this. This is kind of like the distribution of stuff. I have the trials over here. This is basically who shares your same armor type, and then who shares your same tier. I put all the tension healers down here. I did not add myself because I have no idea which one I'm going to be in at the moment. I'm most likely leaning towards Plot Power or Brewmaster. But yeah, depending on how things look. Depending on how things look, if this stuff looks spooky, you're free to like message me any concerns or anything like that. Do note that depending on whether the bosses are DPS focus or heal focus, I might distribute some tier to healers to an extent.
Do you have any idea which boss is going to be 5 heal?
5 heal? This is probably the only boss I can think of that would be 5 heal, and it's mainly for P2. If everyone has a strong defensive plan, you can 4 heal this boss. But again, I assume strong defensive plan, and we've been bitten before on it. We tried doing it for Council.
Struggle with that.
Dragonflight Season 3, Council of Dreams, we tried to 4 heal. It didn't work out. People's defensive plans were bad. We ended up having to 5 heal it. And then, which one was it? For Noble Powers, we tried to 4 heal Kaibesu for a bit, partially due to healer roster issues. And then that didn't end up working because, again, defensive plans were whack. But this boss really depends on P2 tuning. If P2 is totally fine, and the healers can heal every single 20 seconds, we are good. If that's not doable, grip. It's a 5 heal boss, and then I'm expecting someone to invade my DM.
So I noticed all the healers happen to be on like the same tier token. Like, do they just keep doing that to themselves on purpose? Is this like do they hate themselves?
No,
I mean, there's not a lot of DPS here for this
game are on the same token.
Same token, yeah. I just noticed that, and I was just like, oh, well, damn.
I'm waiting for one of these
Fine balling up for tier.
I'm waiting for one of these 4 to like convince me that they deserve it more than these 4.
Well,
I
Good
mean,
luck with that.
Paladins don't really exist unless they're Volux, so there's one.
More than that first guy on the list, I'll tell you that.
Who's that? Thyan? I don't know who that is, so I don't know if he needs loot.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Fuck that guy.
Okay, he's saying he had to defend himself. But yeah.
He's muted.
Do you know, this is not necessarily in the order that we're distributing it. Like, Mort's not necessarily the last one after all the Warlocks. Bob was not necessarily.
Damn right, I'm ahead of the Warlocks. Fuck them.
Oh my god.
Yeah, right, pal.
Oh.
Yeah,
You know, there's more Warlocks than you, so they could just gang
Yeah,
up.
I like that this list is literally just 5 Warlocks and then there's just one Bolo.
I mean, it doesn't matter because what's gonna happen is not a single fucking dreadful tier is gonna drop for like the first and we're all gonna be fucking catalyst charge heroes.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, I'm just gonna get all my loot out of raid anyways, because
yeah,
there's gonna be no dreadful pieces. Period.
Which tier did that happen that we literally just had no?
We had no Zenith this last year.
Yeah.
no, no,
this
no.
one.
When we had no, none of the dreadful, like that actually
That-
happened. I was it.
I
It
want
was-
to say it was a Mirdrasil.
No,
Yeah, I think in
you're,
Vitrasil. Or
Nearbar
Nerbob.
Palace.
Nerbob
should
There was
Palace.
no-
Yeah, I was gonna say, didn't we struggle in Narrowbar too
It was no more
Yeah,
palace.
with the hunter tier?
But yeah, we're going to hope for a decent distribution. I think. What's it? If I move all the healers up. I need to let the cut come in. You can see that it's relatively balanced between the different specs. Like maybe a little bit more on ventilator, but and then obviously you have to add me whatever. Like if I'm a paladin, this tier set just gets completely.
Stick is the one to be in. Let's go.
Double BDK, let's go.
Little tiny legs.
Totally. But yeah, that's just some talk about the class. If I haven't talked to you yet, just assume that whatever you put as your main, I'm totally fine with. I've mainly just been looking over like alts and been prioritizing like who has an alt that will cover for a potential weight buff that we're missing, or that I'll need to look into. I will mention.
I am patiently awaiting my message there, Rita.
Yes, you and to like 10 other people, cause I'm a shield discusser. Pretty sure some of the trials haven't even heard a single message from me. Alrighty.
It's a lot of Demon Hunter alts.
They're gambling on the Void DH.
All the warlocks have
The
DH
third
alts.
spec,
I
yeah.
have a warlock alt.
Hey, don't include me
Oh,
in that.
no.
Yeah. What's it?
Yeah, Sando has blank.
The only stuff I would mention about this, so Fip is not on the roster. He'll just retrial whenever things change. If we end up feeling that also includes us being in a situation while I'd be grabbing. Bo, I probably need to message because I told him that we were full, and then he showed up to this meeting, and I was like, oh, interesting. Surprised that he showed up when we have like 5 people who are missing.
Do we is the Kayam situation resolved, or is he just MIA for 3 weeks and then?
The Kayam situation, he is totally good. He will be here, it's just he won't be able to grind Mythic Plus as much. But he will be here for the entirety of Fog. Okay, let me see. But anyways, important stuff. The reason why we started the spreadsheet up, in case people haven't done anything with it, we do have a key schedule page to this. Do you make sure that you actually like discuss with people as need be to make key groups? As I'll put it, I'm generally available. I plug a lot of my keys. So
Aside from like the 3 people who are marked as flex, there's no healers. Love it.
yeah. What is it?
Oh yeah, plug in healers for 2-hour tins week 1.
You can ping me.
Are you healing?
If I'm not, well, if I'm not currently
tanking
tanking for my group, I'm healing up my
Yeah.
shaman. So
that's what I was thinking, is that you were tanking for your group.
Wait a minute. You found another tank for your Mythic group? Or are you talking about us?
I'm talking about you guys.
Ah, yeah. I can also heal once I'm
Alright,
done
we're
with my
not going
keys,
to
but-
do swap around. Alright, so
Yeah.
just to go around, what is it? Let me see. Vorx usually joins whoever. Kaims and JST, or whatever Japan Prime is. Let me see. Topaz usually has his own key group, but sometimes he's available. He put in a key schedule. Let me see. Ballin does keys. Soup has the group with Sock, Sally, Mort. I'm forgetting someone.
Row.
Whoa. And then There's a good chance that Nico is going to be dragged along with either Nest Avery, or if somehow they're busy.
I don't know if
I
they're
don't know if they're
playing.
playing.
That's my stuff, because Miko keeps saying that she's going to join Nest and Avery, and I'm like, I don't even know if they're playing. I did see Nest
If
log in
she's-
yesterday,
They probably have talked about it then.
but if not, most chances are Miko's probably going to join whatever group I'm in. She's going to figure out a way to like fly in. And then y'all can experience the joy of the lighter Miko keys. I'm just kidding. It's on range. It's not on ready alt. You don't have to worry about us terrorizing too much. Except for the fact that
We're
Miko,
still better than bugs.
I don't know about that one, Chief.
Oh.
Do note, what is it? As I'll put it, because the mob's HP was increased by 14%, and then the damage was reduced, generally speaking, when you're pushing up towards the 10, you're more likely to be gated by DPS, being able to time the key, than by any real HPS check. That's at least for like early 10s. So do keep that in mind. Like, what is it? Do keep in mind like this DPS gate. I've already mentioned to a few people about like DPS stuff for keys. But yeah, try your best to like push up as high as possible. You don't have to do like 10s immediately, but like you could do like, I don't know, start off with 8, and then after you get like maybe 2-3 pieces, you immediately try to like push up to a 10, so you can start getting gear that you can actually upgrade with Rune Crest.
Tuesday to Friday, I am pretty much doing keys 10 to 14 hours every day. So
Tuesday to Friday, I will have a grand total of 12 hours period to do keys.
Yeah, I'll generally try to be available because for the most part I'll be tanking or healing. What is it? This is me talking about myself. Usually morning and afternoon keys will be on the monk for the Mistweavers, since that one waits on the weekday, and then the degen keys will be whatever tank I'm trying to gear up. But I am willing to swap as need be for final, assuming that you're on whatever tank I end up applying. I'll decide on the tank probably sometime on Tuesday, or I just guild 2 of them. Let me see. That's roster stuff, that's key stuff. What else do I need? What else do I want to yap about for my 1 hour yap? Let me see. For tier pieces, I believe generally, assuming we're going with all 30, generally the tier tokens is around like 7 to 8. So that would mean that if we're able to call all of normal and all of heroic, we probably get around like 21 tier pieces. Let's just say 21. So obviously not everyone is going to have 4 piece early on. That's fine. Usually most guilds don't, well, unless you do sports, usually most guilds don't even have everyone get to 4 piece. But yeah. And then I mentioned it in the announcement post. Generally, if the youth does not have like a cantrip, or it's not trinket, or it's not tier, like for example like this shield, we're going to immediately just roll off on the shield. If you get a champ track gale, but you might want the hero track gale, do not equip the gale. As I put it, there's no harm in not equipping gale up until you see every single youth that drops, unless you're like, I just need a pause, because the stuff that I want to avoid is you getting something that's champ track, same item drops on hero track, and all of a sudden you want it as well, and then the officers are staring at you like, we just gave you the champ track stuff, do we also give this? Which most likely the answer is no. So try your best to, if you get something on champ track, just set on it, and then we could just easily add it to the console, and then last 45 minutes we'll put everything that hasn't been up, and then we'll probably take like a quick 2 or 3 minutes for people to just click or write down notes. That's just for Friday. We do a little bit of it on Saturday as well. And then, well, let me see. Just that. For crafting, so you already have your 1 spark from this week. What is it? They changed it so that the half spark does not come from a quest. You get 1 from your pinnacle chest, the weekly, and then there is 1 catch up. You most likely got this catch up during MGO or Delves, and that's what triggered the quest for the quest for most of you. So you can get 2 halves and you get the 1 spark. As I'll put it, generally you want to craft your weapon first. If you're going to do a second craft and it's gilded, really think over like a wing or a neck, unless it's like a belt with elemental focus lens, whatever scales up really well. If you're going to craft the bracers, you should most likely craft it with the free one that you get from killing Dimensions. Do not use a gilded on your bracers. I know for most of you it says your bracers are this. You should not be spending gilded on bracers early on. It should be a recraft unless you're like that poor. It should just generally be like, first one is a mythic weapon 1H, unless you're thinking that we're going to be able to do mythic bosses week 1. Your second craft should be a bracer with the free craft, or it should be a gilded craft on like a wing or neck that you just have not gotten in a vault slot, and you don't think you're going to get your vault mythic plus jewelry, whatever it might be. Because realistically, all you're crafting for this tier is bracers, belt, wing, both wings, neck, and a weapon. That's it. So it's like, there's not really a whole lot of options.
What do you think you're gonna do with the 2 set from Raid?
The 2 set from Raid?
Like the trinket and weapon.
I don't have to type up. For the 2 set, you're talking about the int cantrip and the int trinket.
Yeah.
Realistically, there's a few DPS that have it as Biz. If a healer is able to maintain being under 25% mana, it is pretty good for like really strong healers. But if it's like a combo set, it might be a healer. But if it's like just individual cantrip weapon, it's probably a DPS. And everything else we can talk about. Reminder, you do want to upload your wild audit sims every single week. This will disappear every 6 days. So you're going to want to put something in, and then you can click on start editing, and then actually no, I'm pretty sure you could just add the note in by default, but if not, you could just click this button and then add a note, and then officers will see it in game. If they don't see it in game because the add-on bugged, I'll have most likely seen it. Don't add notes to everything though, because you don't know what exactly is going to drop. Just add notes for stuff where it's like, I just want to just hit this, or like upgrade, or minor, or catalyst, and you don't want to like write a note every single time in game. And then you're always free to open the overview tab to see what everyone else is simming at. Doesn't necessarily mean that because you sim the highest, ute is going to go to you. And then you can always check the ute history just to get a running total of who's received what ute and any notes that they put up. I posted this earlier. You can see what gear they had, how many people were competing, what the actual DPS sim was, if they uploaded it to our audit, which we're going to require to receive ute. I'm already going to expect that there's going to be like 1 or 2 people who are going to forget to upload a sim. We're going to get past 6 p.m. and then they're going to be like, wait, I'm uploading my sim right now, and we'll be like, nope, that line's already hit. You're not going to get anything.
I am going to start sending out reminders on Thursdays,
Yes.
so you will be getting pings from me.
Yes, my personal opinion, when you're doing your sim for the vault slot, go ahead and run one for the wish list, and then just paste it in. And then if you remember to do it on Thursday or Friday, you update it on Thursday or Friday. But just getting it on Tuesday means that you're guaranteed for you, because like when we look at the overview tab, we can see what your gear was equipped at the time. Like we can get a good sense of like, okay, what gain can this person like get as an estimate. So like as long as you upload like on Tuesday, should be fine. Oh yeah, you make sure that you're checking this. And then you're always free to check this to see any total of like what eye level. Do you know that the summary page has the average eye level of what the person currently has equipped? And this is the one I'm going to screenshot. On the Great Vault and Gear tab, this will show the highest eye level that you've ever equipped, assuming that you logged off with the gear. If you equip something high eye level and then you log off, it won't update for this. I'm pretty sure that's how it works.
Did they fix
Nope.
the issue that we were talking about this morning?
No, still updating this because you can see that there's absolutely nothing here.
What's that red box around the chest?
I had stuff on mine earlier.
Someone has a spreadsheet open and has clicked this.
Okay.
But yeah, sometimes this updates, sometimes this doesn't. It's only ever going to show the 2 vault slots. You should just know whether you have the 3 vault slots open or not. But eventually at some point this should be fixed tomorrow, and then you might see like Sally ping for like M0s. Yeah, the most important stuff is just this stuff, because we're assuming currently that Delve vault slots can drop hero track tier.
I think they did last season, didn't they?
They did.
Week 1?
Yeah.
They did drop hero track tier, which is why this is basically our main requirement. So, play that you get hero track tier. Ideally, it's in whatever your 4 main tier slots are if you're not using all 5, and it's not in like your off tier piece. Worst case, all you have are all catalyze options. You could just delay picking it up until Friday. If you get tier involved, as long as it's a tier that you can use, my personal opinion is you should just grab it. Don't wait until Friday. Especially if you can get like a really early 2 piece. Granted, that's also, you should wait on the catalyst until we actually wait and you see what tier pieces drop. You don't want to catalyze something and then miss out on potential 4 piece, like, I don't know, you get hero track legs, you have hero track chest and shoulders for Mythic Plus, and you also have Mythic track helm, and then the prior 2 drop in raid as tier tokens. And you're just sitting there like, well, if I didn't catalyze my chest piece, I could have gotten 4 piece, whatever. I said that a little bit mistaken, but you get the general idea. And then what else is there? Oh, so look at this. Do you make sure that this back piece is 707? Sally will ping in the bit. Actually, no. It's gonna be like someone should ping it. I don't know why I said Sally specifically. Then,
I think me and Topaz both said that we'd keep an eye on it, so that way it doesn't get missed.
Alright. But yeah, just make sure this gets to 707. Next week it should go up to 714. But yeah, so that's that stuff. And then what is it? I don't know why this randomly updates and then randomly doesn't. Just ignore it. This stuff, the servers are probably just dead for them. Yeah. No other stuff I'll probably mention is, do make sure that you do a lot of prep work. I'm going to qualify one stuff because I've been noticing this a lot when I've been DMing people, and I didn't necessarily mention it to the people when I was DMing them. At least not all of them. When I say prep work, my usual stuff is the first raid day that we go into a raid encounter. You should have an idea of your defensive, your offensive CD plan, as well as like general movement and general mechanics of the fight. The moment that we go into day 2 or beyond a raid, your prep should not be. Your prep work isn't like that kind of stuff about how I look at mechanics or those kind of stuff. Your prep work should be, what did I do on the previous raid day, and what can I change to live longer or do more damage or whatever. Like, I would probably say like a good section of it should just be you either bot reviewing or log reviewing yourself, and maybe have like another pair of eyes to like stare at it with you to like talk about stuff. Like, I know as of current there's like a bunch of people who are like making like mini study groups or whatever, so do keep that in mind. I think I've sent an unreasonable number of range people straight at the end for range stuff. So
I didn't get anything about range stuff.
Like, it's because I was, what is it? You mentioned survival for single target, and I was like, alrighty.
I can play anything.
No one wants to be my study partner.
Play warrior.
Maybe naked. Okay,
That's
I
not
can play
good.
warrior.
You don't necessarily need a study group. You can always just like in the moment be like, hey, X person, you play pretty close to my position. What are you currently doing? Or like, you can message me instead. I'm definitely going to message people a lot on like stuff that I want to make sure that they cover during their own study prep. It's not going to be like the stuff where I mention like, oh, it's the end of TL. I'm going to spend the next 2 weeks DMing people, and right now we're on Friday, and I'm like, oh, I still have like 10 people to go through. If only I had a third week, because what I said, realistically I've been going through like 10 people per week, and I'm like, dude, 2 weeks means I only get through like 20 people, and now I have to speedrun the last 10. Maybe I should just make my feedback notes a lot shorter. I know that there was like probably a good chunk of people where like you probably went to sleep. I'm sitting there at like 12 a.m. Pacific, and I just like spam like 15 messages back to back, and then you wake up and you're like, huh? And there's some of you why I literally just send it as like one message. That doesn't mean I don't care about you. It just means that that's, well, I generally feel like stuff needs to be looked at, or like you don't need that much of an explanation. Although you can maybe take it as like I'm abandoning you.
Ryda's abandoning us, confirmed.
Let me see. What do we usually have for like Mythic Plus dungeons done? I think usually most people get around like 20 to 30 in like week 1.
Or 40, you know.
Like, we're talking about like the DGen game, we're still at like 60 plus.
Okay, no, we are. No, week 1? No, we're not. That's crazy. I think week 1 last season I had like 37. That was before raid.
I think that's about right.
Yeah, sounds about right. Around 30.
At that point, we're melding into our chairs.
Bruh.
Hell yeah.
Well, yeah. Well, you also. I mean,
I'm hoping to meld into my chair.
At that point, the majority of what we're doing is like our 27 alts, anyways. So.
That's true.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, do not burn out with this form. As I'll put it, I would much rather you message on Wednesday like, hey Ryder, I need to spend a little bit of extra time on boss prep. So I'm probably going to gain like 1 or 2 more ILOs, but my ILO probably won't meet the 691 to 696. Whatever I end up finalizing on. I know that there's talk about 690. It should be higher than 690 because Quexo is like at 688.50.
Yeah, lucky fuck. Got all the good gear.
Yeah.
But
I got so many pieces, I just can't use any of them.
I do need to think about like the yellow end of the loss though. I will get Miko.
Unlucky peeps.
I will get Miko up to 680 before the end of the week. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah, I don't know how she isn't.
I mean, I was kind of gonna ask you this just like personally for your like idea of what's gonna happen. I know we're trying to speed up loot, but for normal, because of like how abundant gear is gonna be, like normal is gonna practically drop nothing that we actually care about. Like we should just not like spend time rolling on shit in normal. We should just speed clear it and get straight to heroic, and then like we can take the break or something to like distribute shit from normal.
Well, you went really quiet near the end though.
Alright. I don't know which part of that.
Blow up.
My opinion is that we should speed clear normal and like not take literally any time distributing loot. Like if we are in front of a boss, we are ready check pull.
Yes. Alrighty. Yeah, that was the main point. Then yeah. The speed up is basically if anyone ever watches like one of the bots I did for like a Military Sale or Noble Palace or Undermined, one of the things that you notice is like we'll walk up to a boss, I'll ready check it, I'll open the U Council, and then by the time the ready check ends in 45 seconds, there's like 2 people who are AFK, and I'm still looking at U Council stuff, and then I'm just like, I will chatter for like 20 seconds and then I'll ready check again. Realistically, I would like it where it's like we get to the boss, we reset immediately, I immediately slam the ready check, and then we're ready to like go. I mean, if we want, we could just pull the boss, but I'd say like a quick reset is worthwhile, just because we're most likely lusting on trash to like speed up the trash. And if we're not, we should be lusting on trash. Like, the goal should be basically like, usually it takes us about 90 minutes to call out the trap. Call off normal. I would like it to be reduced down to like 60 minutes, just so that it guarantees us to be 1 heroic boss further in, if not 2. Same with heroic. And if you're just habitually like not responding to the ready check, I'm just going to start the countdown. If I notice like you're just constantly AFK. I don't. This is me trying to basically force a certain behavior. It's like, so we might use a youth, but I'm like, I just want this to go.
But my old school RuneScape farming.
Come on, man.
But yeah, let me see. And then for prep work, I will be maybe making a post after each raid session. Some of you might have noticed that there was a post created for warlocks and hunters. If there's enough people in your spec, you're free to open up your own post.
Demon hunters.
This is technically also stuff where it's like some of these groups existed before, like the hunter group existed before. This is more so that it's public so that other people can read it, and also so I can read it. So if like something is being misguided, it's a lot more obvious. Alright, who just cracked something open?
Sorry.
Oh, the
me.
cold one.
Old one with the
Oh,
yeah,
the
it
cold
was.
one with the boys.
I'm thirsty.
But yeah,
I'm hoping that gets fixed soon. Mm.
Nah, that's part of who you are now.
No, not me being thirsty. The spreadsheet, the audit.
yeah.
Ooh, that hurt.
I will put out the open invitation. If you don't have anyone playing your spec and you want someone to like look at logs for you or with you, then you can ask me. I'm like slow to respond generally because I don't like responding to messages. But I say I'm getting DMs literally as I'm speaking right now because haha funny. But yeah, I think it's people like it's better if you can talk to like obviously we have 5 warlocks, so like you guys are all as a hive mind are going to be able to do better than me, but I can get a rough idea of how every spec plays just from like looking at logs for like 10 minutes. So if you want help, just let me know.
Correct.
Yes.
So immediately.
I would definitely recommend, like, if you're just lost and you feel like there's no one in this Discord to talk to, you can always talk to either me or Quexo. As I'll put it, usually I'm I have other stuff that I'm usually trying to do for weight stuff. So whatever we can offer you for me, the better. But I will always be available because there's a good chance that if you ask about like a damage profile or something, I can just already tell right off the bat like your overall is just really bad on this boss. Or like I'm looking at your add damage and you're like doing maybe 60-80% of what you should be doing. Or like this section is where you'll always constantly get killed. You should have already had a defensive heal because this is what every single person who plays your spec puts a defensive. Or like you need to call for an external or you need to hard assign it. Don't be afraid to ask for externals, by the way. Like on most bosses, heal shit on the externals for like a good 75% of the fight. You can always just ask for one to be hard assigned. Like especially because we usually run 2 pain shop charges. Waiting for Soup to tell me that they use paint shop for themselves.
That's true, yes.
They always take them for themselves.
But I also do use paints for myself, so.
Don't be in a boat where you're just constantly asking for like externals everywhere. Like don't be in a boat where it's like I will open your log, you have like shield defensives, and then I open the externals and you have like every single external known to mankind assigned at every single damage point. And I'm just like, wow, the healers are just doing the mechanic for you. But the stuff I want to get rid of is basically like the constant floor POV stuff. Like I don't want to do like the culture of carnage while I'm like, okay, I'm seeing 3 people die to the bomb every single time. I'm going to give a note to the entire raid on this is well you should be using a defensive. Like I don't want to have to constantly repeat of like, oh hey, what is it common stuff like spell reflect is 30 seconds, kill curse shatters is 2 minutes, obsidian scales is 130, survival with fitters is 130. These buttons should be hit a lot and you should not just be holding them for whatever stuff, and then I just see you like slam 3 defensives at the same time. The classic obsidian scale puts you a new blaze combo.
I knew that was gonna get said. That's my
Hey, I might
favorite,
be
right?
playing Uma Musume, but I'm right here. I'm listening.
But yeah, dude, as I'll put it, like my usual recommendation is like you open orgs. Who's this squishy spec? Let's just pick village wood. Like it doesn't hurt to like just go in here, pick a boss, swap off the DPS CDs, put on all the defensives, put on health stone. Just get a general sense of like timing. If the timers seem like really off, you should check to see like, okay, what mechanic is it? If this fight where it's like has a lot of variable timers, like for example like right here the 3-minute section is variable, you can always just open up the logs and then figure out what damage event actually has like the defensive. You can like put it into the query of like you can just put it as like buff, push into on source, and then just put on whatever ability.
If you're friends with a healer, you can also ask them when they think you should use a defensive, because they're gonna know when the damage is coming.
I don't like healers.
It's just on target instead.
Yeah, I don't think they like you back though. That's the thing.
Also, if like
Oh,
the
it is
boss
target.
has super variable timings and every log is different, you can just put them all into WoW Analyzer and click the boss timeline.
Yes,
And
well,
casts like really simply.
well, I know I shouldn't this, but like stuff like this where it's like what I just did is buffs or debuffs, only match if always pushing on target. And you put your defensive on your abilities, change this to filter, and immediately. Why is this not yielding? You can immediately see like, okay, this is what damage event is covered by this box skin, and then you can just click on this stuff over at type to switch it back and forth. If you like, you want to see what the damage events are in between. Like there's a lot of useful queries to actually like make logs readable. You can always ask me for a spreadsheet of those kinds of stuff. You can also see like when people are using help on healthstones. But yeah, you should always as I'll put it, you should always just have a general sense of like, okay, these are when they're using the defensives, or I'm good with defensives, like when are people actually using the offensive CDs, and what do I actually need to like track, and if need be, you can make a note. Do you note that what is it? Dynamic timers is for legendary patron members. Most likely, you're just going to put it into like liquid reminders or timeline reminders or MRT reminders instead, after you figure out what specific damage event it's happening on or what timer it is on. But yeah, do look over logs, look over your own video, see what you're doing. That should be like a majority of the platform work. Like, I'd honestly say like everyone should realistically record or have someone who stands next to you recording, and then you watch yourself what you're doing, and you care a lot about what your positioning and movement looks like. Like, as I'll put it, raid is like a good 30-40% based on positioning. It helps you react to mechanics, it helps you do a lot of stuff. That's why I've been constantly reiterating it leading up to this raid here. You should always worry about your positioning at all time. And of course, there's certain people who are really good at being able to tell you if your positioning is really good or not. As I'll put it, there's 30 people that we have. Eventually it'll be trimmed down to 26, but you have a whole bunch of people you can get advice from or to conversate with. A lot of stuff we want to see is like, what's our usual stuff for like bad behavior? It's like someone doesn't get how to do a mechanic.
Rankings.
We see them making excuses. They don't record themselves. You see like zero attempt of trying to improve, and then you're just saying that they're like, is Ryder doing anything about this person? Like, are we having conversations, or what's going on? Is this person struggling? And like you're pinging them on Discord, and they're like giving you like the donor wall on you. Like we don't want that kind of stuff. Like, it's 2-day guild, and high guilds that I want to do it just by overtime or days. This is basically like the stuff where it's like communication is important as well as reviewing. I should not. What is it? Like, what I also put for pup. Like, the other stuff for pup is you should know your damage profile of like, let me see. This is a bad choice. Boomkin is a good choice. You should have an idea of like, okay, there's a chance that I might have a variable CD timer. I'm going to go with a default, but if Ryder asks that this asset at 2 minutes or 2:30 needs to die, you need to know how to be able to adjust. Because chances are, I already know which specs should be able to do this adjustment. And then when we don't get it, most likely I'm not going to single you out in raid, but after raid, I'm already going to be able to identify who it is who should have had the variable CD timer, or who should have been able to adjust. It'll probably be a bit harder for Nexus-King and Dimensions Week 1, as well as some of the Mythic bosses later on, just because there's not going to be a whole lot of logs. You're probably just going to have to like look at some person's Twitch VOD and try to like digest what the heck they're doing. But yeah, there's a note to go on and ask about stuff. Alrighty, I think I did enough for my 1 hour yap. I don't think that there's any real other topics I'll cover. Is there anything? Am I forgetting something? Oh, if I feel like someone's eye level or performance is really bad, we're going to trim early. I'm going to go with my gut instinct of like, I feel like we should trim this person, and I'm just going to trim them immediately. We'll go with that stuff. Because usually what happens is, I would DM or whisper the person, or I will talk with the officers, or I'll bring it up in raid, and then people usually give the stuff of like, oh well, we've only done like I don't know, maybe 10 pulls of this boss. We should give them a chance, and I'm kind of just saying that like, well, this boss feels like it's something that should have died by pull 10. So the fact that we're already 10 pulls in, it's pretty rough. Like my personal opinion about like the way that you should approach raid. Whenever you make a solution to a problem, or you have a certain expectation for what you're doing in raid, like you have a certain CD planner, you should always have like a timeline of when do you expect this to be done. Like, okay, I'm dying to the X mechanic. I am expecting that within 5 pulls, I will never die to this mechanic ever again. And the moment that you go beyond this, you should immediately be thinking, I cannot do what I'm currently adjusting for. Because one of the habits that we need to get rid of is spending, we already know what the problem is 10 to 30 minutes into raid, and then you're just doing the same stuff over and over for the remainder of the raid session. And then I'm like pinging you, and then like potentially lost swapping you off because I'm just like, this should have been solved like as soon as I mentioned it 15 minutes into raid. Or you should have stopped raid and had me explain what you were supposed to do or something. Ideally not stopping raid. Usually I only like that if it involves other people. Like if it helps the range group as a whole, or if it helps the melee group as a whole, I'm fine with us stopping. If it's just for you individually, I'm going to stare at you and I'm just going to reject you outright. Put Boomkin up. What does 8% give Boomkin?
They also nerfed the tier set with it though, so I don't know.
Well, they buffed back up Keeper of the Grove. It's a 5% Starfire nerf, which is fine. The other one is just AoE for the nerf for Eun's Chosen. The Keeper of the Grove is all buffs, and realistically it's just a version. Sandbag success. What's spec is sandbagging? Like, the only stuff I can think about for sandbag is like the fact that like Warlock has not been touched.
Warlocks are sandbagging. Bunch of sandbaggers.
Let me see. There's not anything out there that I want to mention. So we have the Druid buffs covered. Sword buffs are covered. All your buffs are covered. The only stuff I can think about is like, we don't have a second rogue.
Yeah, I was meaning to ask you about this for a while now. Like, I know it's been floated, but I think we're living in the world where it's just like, that guy's never going to swap, but I'm going to keep the character geared this season. So.
You keep it geared, alright. The only reason why I'm thinking about the second rogue is just due to the fact that on Nexus-King and Dimensions, you do split the raid into 2, and having like a rogue
on each side.
Yeah, a rogue tricks on both sides. Because what's it? We have 2 BM hunters. You're not misdirecting.
I'm not misdirected. BM doesn't misdirect.
Correct. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
Because it's basically just MM Hunter and Survivor.
Oh, I thought you meant like, oh, we don't need 2 rogues because we got BMs to misdirect.
I'm saying,
I was like, our misdirect is useless.
I'm saying that not having the 2 rogues
Yeah.
is rough because we have
Do we
2
have
BM
2
hunters.
DHs? Or do we have 1 DH?
We
for
have-
the DH for the DH buff on the splits?
We have only 1 DH, but there's a chance that I might split it similar to what you do for like Razageth, where it's like a melee and
Yeah. So you
it's
send
it's a
aside
physical versus
magic.
magic split, yeah.
Yeah.
But that also depends, because on Razageth you could do that because the sides were uneven. Or is this one a little bit rougher? I will also mention, some of you probably notice this, but there's not really a whole lot of mill ice above like 5.5 mil. It's usually a concern because most of the physical damage is mill ice, with exception to like hunters.
Yeah, dude, I need to find a fizz comp for keys.
I need to find a comp for keys.
Yeah, I agree. I would love to have somebody to do keys with, but I know a lot of people already have their own groups.
Sounds like I'm joining right a late night key push.
You're about to join the Lido, morning Lido, afternoon and Lido, late night.
I will gladly join the Rite of morning. Late nights are hard for me, which sucks because I just like doing keys. But I can definitely join Rite of morning keys.
Like the only issue with the Lido morning keys is I'm usually referring to like my morning.
Yeah. Well, what's your morning?
Like I'm Pacific time, so my morning starts at like 8 p.m. Pacific.
What time's that Central?
10.
10.
Oh yeah, that's perfectly fine. That gives me time to get the kids to school, come home. I can have breakfast. If I want to go to the gym, I can go to the gym, and then get home and shower, and then keys with Rita.
And then late night DGen keys go all the way up to 4 a.m. Pacific.
Yeah, no, I can't do that. No.
I can do that. I'm off for 4 days.
I am
in.
literally awake for 20 hours just doing keys. And
I'll tell you what. This first week I can do some late night DJing keys just because I'll convince the wife that it's week 1. I got to.
Like the important stuff is, as I'll put it, for doing the keys with me is you do not use me as your indicator of when you stop doing keys. You use yourself. Because there are definitely some people who are like, I'm going to join Lido for keys, and I'll stop whenever Lido stops. 20 hours later.
Dude, I will do that. I will do that with you. I will do a 20-hour day of keys. You think I'm playing?
I would see people just being absolutely dead, and that's the 20 hours is realistically like. Usually that's like me doing the monk for weekday guild, whatever tank I'm going to do for the weekend guild, and then.
You tell me what day you're going to do like a 15-20 hour day and I'll be there for every single key. No lunch break, no nothing. No bathroom breaks.
I mean usually those are Monday because that's the only day I don't wait. The only time Monday is not an option is if my friends decide that they want to hang out because they work the bonkers schedule of having Monday being a day off. You know, I'm love shuffling in my friends group.
I need to find some groups for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday so I can have a bunch of gear for raid. But I'll go to Monday if you're going to do a 20-hour on Monday. Yeah. I'll be there. Oh, actually I can't do... this coming Monday I can because bowling starts the following Monday.
I mean, it's usually I DGen this week and then... or this upcoming week, and then
good. Well, I can DGen with you Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
You wanted a pet? What the hell, man?
We can do 7 days, Rita, of 20-hour days of keys.
We'll see. But yeah. Hopefully, what is it? I'm actually willing to commit to what I have in my mind, because, what is it? I mentioned stuff about like, for the first few mythic bosses, we're not going to treat them as like a trial or a 50-50 environment. We're going to do that with weak claws, and that's even if the weak claw feels like doable. We're going to just go in with the best prog roster for each boss, and go from there.
Oh, so that means I'm getting benched.
Which means, what is it? Which means that there is a chance that, there is a chance that, for some people, things might, what is it? I'm expecting some people to end up getting benched and then they're not entirely satisfied, or like I'm just going to tell some people like, oh hey, your performance isn't well enough for what we're doing. Oh my goodness, this is a good fix.
No. Oh god.